Coasters for the win.
The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Only no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters. We'll bring you the news and reviews of your favorite brews. My name is Dan Baker. I am joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hafner.
and of course the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
Man, oh man, we're over a year of doing things virtually, and 2021 is a very exciting year for many reasons, especially in the world of the brewery that we have featured on today's episode.
I like how, and everybody does this.
I know.
Everybody who makes stuff on the internet does. You tease what's coming up, even though they've seen the title of the episode by now.
Listen, I have an excuse.
They know who's on the show.
I worked in live radio. I have an excuse. I'm used to
that's fair.
teasing
That's
things.
fair.
Of course,
It's
yeah.
St. Boniface.
You looked at your screen. You clicked on the episode. It's St. Boniface. That means we have joining us our old pal.
Dane.
Thank you for joining us, man.
I like the little the Metallica suffix you added there. The Dane. Nah.
Well, thanks so much for having me, guys.
Of course. I'm glad we
Always a
we could
pleasure.
do it. How are you?
Well, it's been an interesting wild ride, as you guys know, I'm sure. But no, I'm good. Every day above ground's a good one.
That is very true.
Wow.
Very true.
Yeah. That's a good way to look at it. Yeah.
That's what I think. That's what an old coworker of mine used to tell me. So I'm not going to put a name with it, but yeah, I figured that's the way you got to look at it right now.
It's good advice.
Yeah,
Good advice.
that's true. Gotta keep the optimism going. I love it.
Well, if you find yourself above ground and with an internet connection,
Yes.
you can find Beer Busters on that internet.
You can. You know what to do. Twitter and Instagram at Beer Busters. Facebook, Beer Busters Podcast. BeerBustersPodcast.com/shop. Specifically, there's youtube.com/beerbusterspodcast. You need to add the word podcast in there, because if you don't, you're going to get some guys from halfway around the world who plagiarized something. Yeah. And of course, there is patreon.com/beerbusters, where as little as $1 a month gets you access to cool things like the special patron-only feed. You get last call, you get outtakes, which I promise are actually coming. There's a lot of shit happening. You get invited to recordings when we're in the Beer Busters podcast basement, when we're allowed to be around people. And of course, there is the newest of the new feature on there. You get to listen to Blockbusters.
The as yet not see indeed Blockbuster.
Well, okay, yeah. I mean, I think we're okay.
Yeah.
With that.
I did want to mention. I just a couple days ago finished editing and posting the last call from Attic Brewing with Laura, and I thought that was a particularly fun one. So, if you are a patron and you haven't checked that one out yet, I recommend it. If you're interested in becoming a patron, $1 to listen to that episode, I think is worth it.
Yeah, and the episode proper with Laura was really cool.
Yeah, it was.
And the last call was great. So yeah, you know what to do. You know the shebang. Go find us online. But we got a lot we're gonna get into today, and one of my favorite things is that we're starting with the obligatory lager, but not just any lager. We're starting with the 225 lager. Such a great beer, such a fantastic beer. Now, Dane, I have to ask you a question about this, because we had you on our panel for the Grain and Malt Symposium, which again, thank you for doing that. That was a whole lot of fun, and I'm glad you could be part of it.
Yeah, that was a really cool experience.
Yeah, it was so great. My question, though, is you pronounced this beer a little differently than what we had been calling it. Is it 225 or is it 225?
It's whatever you want to call it if you're buying it. I don't really care.
As long as you're buying it, yeah.
No, I've always called it 225 because the name actually came from the anniversary of the Lancaster newspaper, which is what this beer was originally brewed for, as kind of a collaboration with Lancaster newspaper. So that's why I've always called it 225. But you're more than welcome to call it whatever you'd like.
Well, I think I might have to tell myself to call it 225 then, because you are the inside man, and I feel like we should follow in your footsteps with that.
I
However,
feel like,
either way, we'll keep buying it.
I feel like weirdly 225 lager makes sense, but lager 225 makes sense.
That sounds like a trendy club.
Yeah. So the next time, and I know you guys just did Tide House last summer, but the next time you guys open another location, make it like a nightclub, and you can call it like Lager 225.
You know, casually branching into nightlife.
And what kind of like what will our servers dress in?
That
Bondage.
is yeah, okay.
Oh,
all right.
geez.
I'm glad somebody else said it. I thought you were going to ask. Where's our clientele going to come from? Nobody's going to a nightclub right now. Maybe soon.
Yeah, that's true.
Hopefully.
That's true. We're not in Florida.
Oh.
Well, no, I'm glad you guys like this beer. It's what it's such a nice, easy, smooth drinking beer. And I know when we were doing the malt symposium, it was like the first little warm weather stretch that we had, and I was like, oh, it goes great with that type of weather. And I think it was Steph. It was like, you can drink this all the time, and you're 100% right. And it's always a great fallback. I don't know what I want. 225.
For sure.
And you'll be satisfied.
Yeah. I mean, you should always have a lager on hand for whenever you're not sure what else to drink, because they're
lager?
Well, I mean, this lager for sure. But if you are in a place where you can't get 225, have a good lager on. Do you distribute this into Philly? I feel like you guys do. I can't quite recall.
So we did a rebrand of it for the bank that we work with in Port Richmond, and it was called Stolot in the heritage of the Polish heritage that they came from. For their actual anniversary. So we actually had rebranded it. I think that's the only time that it was in Philadelphia for any normal stretch. It's always available by request with through our wholesaler who distributes us down there. But I don't think it's necessarily something we send there all the time.
Okay.
But it has been here incognito.
It has.
And at the very least, at least for us, we know we can still get it because we have strong ties to that area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you might know somebody.
Yeah, maybe one person.
But yeah, we have always loved all your beers from the beginning.
For sure.
You've always been a standout brewery, but this is one of those beers we talk about all the time. There's been a couple of those peppered throughout the history of the podcast, and this is definitely one of them.
Wow.
Thank
you, because you guys drink a lot of beer.
That's true.
That's true. We do.
I know this beer is youngish relative to the lineup at Boniface, but when did this come out exactly?
Oh man, you're gonna put me on the spot.
I just put you on the spot.
I feel like this might have been 2019 because I know it came out right around one of the Effort of Brewfests, and we had it there for the first time.
All right, that sounds about right. Let's say that. Does that sound right? 2019.
Sure.
Which means it was either 2018 or 2019 because I think those are the only times we recorded there, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you are
some
correct.
Internet sleuthing while we talk.
Yeah,
right.
It looks like Steph might be doing that now.
Well, I thought Untapped would have it.
Oh, I don't think they say. Yeah, usually like when a beer was first produced.
Well, it depends on who put it on Untapped.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Who would that have been?
It was 2019.
2019.
Hey!
There you go. We were right.
There you go.
Because I found the Lancaster Online article about the beer. The article is a 9-minute read, just in case.
Oh, in case you're. I often wonder how they calculate that.
Yep, I was just gonna say it.
Like, I guess it's just the average reading pace and then how many words it is. I don't know.
Is it like the average amount of time that somebody spends on that website and they think people read it?
I doubt it, no. Because that would be skewed towards like a couple seconds. Because
that's true.
Most visits to a site are just like either bots or
click.
like, I didn't mean to click this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever. But that's an entirely different discussion.
I think it is.
But we did mention the Effort of Brewfest, and that brings up something we thought we would do in this episode. Is since Boniface is newly 10 years old now.
Happy birthday!
Is just talk a little bit about the history. It's been a while since we've done a Boniface centered episode, so maybe we have some listeners that have come on board that don't know a whole lot about Boniface. But not only that, but because you guys have been involved in our podcast and us with you for a very, very long time. And the Effort of Brewfest were something I jotted down when you had been on the show previously. So why don't you take us back to the beginning? And Boniface started in, like 2011? Is that right? Wow.
Yeah, so John and Mike actually started working on the brewery in 2010. And it was finally got a chance after jumping through all the hurdles. opened doors actually February 2nd, 2011. And it was later than what they had hoped. But because of the location of where the brewery started, it was actually Doniker's Artworks building, and Doniker's used to be a pretty well-known restaurant and dress store in Ephrata, and the owner actually had a liquor license, so that kind of held things up because he was also the renter to us at the time. So he removed himself from the liquor license. It was a whole big to-do, but he was willing to make it happen for these two guys who were trying to make a go of it, and finally things got going that February 2011, and yeah, it's been crazy ever since, to say the least.
I don't know if I ever knew, or maybe I just forgot that the brewery opened up on Groundhog Day.
Is that Groundhog Day?
Yeah, February 2nd.
Yeah, it is. That was not any, there was no particular reason. It was just that they needed to sell some beer because it was just sitting in tanks. And we actually opened with one beer, Hegemony, on tap, and sold it all. John was brewing on a 1-barrel system at the time. Sold everything we had that night, and it was going to be a couple more weeks till they could open up again. So kind of crazy. Yeah.
I would imagine.
I remember my first visit to St. Boniface when it was in what felt like a basement down this weird, creepy alley. And I still have my first St. Boniface growler with the sticker on it, the brown glass with the sticker. And I got it filled with Hegemony. That was the first beer I ever had there. So I love how serendipitous it is that now every year you guys celebrate your anniversary with that beer. And I don't know how many people realize that it's not just like a great imperial stout, which is a great celebratory beer style, but it is also literally the first beer that John and Mike sold as St. Boniface.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, the first time I visited St. Boniface was that same night. And I got to know John a little bit over the interwebs, and just communicating, just wondering what I was really a big craft beer fan, and to find out that a new craft brewery was opening up in Ephrata, it was awesome. So I was, for the lack of a better term, my wife would call it internet stalking for quite some time to try to kind of get the lowdown on what was going on. And shortly after that, John asked me to if I wanted to know if I help fill growlers, and in the summer I have a lot more free time. So he asked me if I wanted to help out during the summer. He couldn't pay me, but in beer, and boy, was I okay with that. So that summer really is when I started to get involved in the brewery, and ever since then it's been like I said, a crazy wild ride, to say the least. So, but yeah, Hegemony, Steph, you brought that up, and let me circle back to that. Sorry, it was the first beer. So when we didn't do anything real celebratory for our anniversary until the 5th year, and John had went away from his original homebrew recipe for Hegemony to brew it on a commercial basis. So he wanted to go back for the anniversary to that original homebrew recipe, which has additions of lactose and honey to push the alcohol level up a little bit to smooth it out. And so that's what he decided to do for our 5th anniversary. And then, from that point forward, we made the regular version, took some off, make a barrel and barrel age some of it, and then we've done that for the last couple years, with this being our the 10th anniversary, and so so that's the story behind the anniversary beer. It all came from the original recipe.
Wow.
And so I assume that the 5 was originally put in place of the S in anniversary because a 5 looks like an S, and you guys have just sort of continued to do it. I mean, and as we call it, Annivermilkary, Anniversary, Anniversevenery, Annivereatery, Anniverninery, and now we have Annivertenery.
So here's the thing about you had a thing you were going to say. Go ahead. Sorry. Wayne.
You missed a trick. The first one, if the first one was your 5th year, the word anniversary has a V in it, which is a Roman numeral 5.
That's a good point.
At no other point in the history of the brewery is there going to be a Roman numeral in the name that's going to work for the year. You blew your shot, man.
We did, but could we?
But I like Annivermilkary.
Well, so here's what I'd say about Annivermilkary. This is the perfect time, and I feel like somewhere along the way years ago, I think maybe last time we were at the brewery, somebody had said that you guys were going to go till the 10th anniversary and then maybe not do this again afterwards. So my thought was that you should name it 10niversary to just go out on top with it.
I think you did say that the last time we were either on a meet or on one of these things. But yeah, so that was always the discussion. Like, this is going to be the last year that we make it into a bottled version and release it. Maybe brew it on a smaller scale and still do a regular and a barrel aged version, but only draft only. But not that it's it's just we want to switch it up and do something different.
Of course,
I veto this idea. I am not for this.
Steph does not.
Oh no! Tell me about it.
Well, I have had every iteration of the anniversary beer since the 5th anniversary, both the regular and the barrel aged ones. And not only do I think they're freaking solid beers and some of the best imperial stouts and barrel aged imperial stouts that you can get on the market, but they're also really freaking reasonably priced. Like, you get this gorgeous bottle with this amazing wax, and the contents of the bottle are superb. And then you guys are, and we've talked about this on the show before. You guys are very mindful about your prices, and your beer is quite affordable, especially considering that the standard in the industry continues to rise. But it is a beer that I faithfully go and buy all the time. I make sure Dan has a bottle. I usually save a bottle for my brother, and like it's. I don't know. I celebrate your anniversary too, and that's part of it. So, I mean, if you want to change it up, sure, do a variant or do something additional, but
or put chilies in it.
Yeah. I wonder if anybody ever suggested a variant. I'm not sure if anybody did that.
With chili peppers?
Yeah, chili peppers.
Well, sometimes we get some crazy firkins with stuff in it. I know we didn't do any firkins of the regular version, but John, I know, pulled off and did some of the barrel aged version. So I'm not exactly sure what ended up in them, but they'll be either tapped at a future event, maybe at Tide House eventually. I'm not sure. But it would be sad to go away completely. Maybe it'll be different. Maybe it'll go to cans. I don't know what, I'm not sure. I don't know. I have no idea.
How can you wax a can though? You need the wax.
You can wax a can. You can dip a can in wax. I mean, why not?
Probably uses a hell of a lot more wax though.
I mean, that sounds like worse. That sounds even worse than getting stemlered.
Oh God. I was telling somebody about stemlered the other day.
Oh, I don't know about stemlered.
So stemlered is when you it's when you take a cork, right? It's when you take.
Uncap a beer.
And there's a cork under the cap.
Oh,
so you don't know there's a cork.
Oh, no, yes. I know exactly. Yep.
And
those free will sours.
Yeah.
That was the first time we ever came across it, and we did not have a corkscrew.
We got into the beer though.
Oh yeah, we found a way in
because we had screws, screwdrivers, and pliers.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Ingenious.
Beer finds a way.
I did have a question that came to mind when you were talking about hegemony being not only the first beer ever made for Boniface, but also the anniversary beer and all the different versions. Have you noticed as the brewery and the brand has gotten bigger and more popular, do you find more people able to pronounce the name of that beer on the first try?
No.
Still bad?
What's the worst pronunciation you ever got?
Oh man.
Hegemony?
Yeah, I was gonna say hegemony.
Hegemony. We get hegemony. We get all sorts of things. I don't know. You guys, we had a customer of ours who actually made a sign. I don't know if you've ever seen it in the tap room.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
they phonetically pronounced it with like icons.
Yeah, there's like little pictograms because there's like a hedge because it's hedge. Yep. I remember that, and then like a lawnmower from Mo.
And then a knee. Yep.
A knee. Yep.
Yep. With a gem. Yeah. It's like one of those things you find under the beer caps.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Little riddles.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely we definitely tried to try to get people to pronounce it right. But again, just like the 225 or 25,
As long as you're buying it.
I don't care if you're buying it. No.
Call it whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly. If you're buying it and drinking it, hey, go for it.
That is the important part. It just people should be able to pronounce it.
Well, some of them aren't the easiest. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I mean, with this one specifically, one of the things I was looking up, and I don't know if my brain ever made this connection with this beer. There was a book by Orson Scott Card called Shadow of the Hegemon, and for the longest time when I first read that, I was
Is that a Pokemon?
No. It's in the Ender's Game series of books.
Oh, okay. I know.
It's in the parallel universe to Ender's Game. It's this whole weird thing that he did, which was kind of cool. However, when I was younger and I read the book, I'm like, I don't know how to say this word. I'm just going to call this book Shadow from now on. So I can understand why this word is kind of hard for some people. It's not a word you hear very often, except when you're referring to a beer that is celebrating a brewery's anniversary.
And then when you put a number in the word anniversary, you just make it even tougher.
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Or funner.
Funner.
See, why did we start? I feel like we started calling it, like, pronouncing the number in the name because I could never take the fact that Final Destination 5 tried to use the 5 as a letter.
Jeez.
So for me, it was always Five-Null Destination. So I feel like I just kind of ported that over to Annivermilkary.
Yeah, I never even try and never will, even though you really want me to, Steph.
It'll happen, man. We're going to get you.
The worst one was 7, and I mean, if you do it next year, 11's just as bad.
Oh.
Annivermilkary.
Oh, man. Wow. Yeah. That'll be a mouthful. That's the reason we can't do it.
Exactly.
That's it. I mean, 7's not so bad because it starts with a consonant, so it kind of fits.
Well, when 12 rolls around, that's a little bit easier.
Annivermilkary
or 12 anniversary.
What about Annivermilkary?
Oh, wow.
13 anniversary?
13 anniversary.
No.
Yeah, maybe you guys should try something different next year. Mix it up a little bit.
We could go all night if you want.
Yeah.
I'm actually curious how many of these we can get out. Yeah. I'm sure as we keep drinking, it'll happen.
Anniversary. It's a little much once you get to the teens.
Well, no, when it gets to 15, just go all out and say it's your quinceañera. Quinceañera-versary.
That would be the perfect one to put peppers in.
Actually, yeah, that's a really good idea.
Mole hegemony.
Ooh.
Hegemony.
All right.
No.
That's too much of...
My dreams come true.
Oh, my God.
Not here.
Oh, my God.
John would be hanging up right now.
Yeah. He'd be like, you guys are breaking up? What?
What? Sorry. Oh, my internet cut
He
out.
wouldn't even say anything. He would just be like, click, leave meeting.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
Well, we lost Sam when we had Poor Man and Mooduck on.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was like a car accident.
Yeah, there was like an accident down the street, knocked at pole, because he like texted the other guys and told them what happened because he cut out. He was like,
oh, wow.
The internet cut out. There was a pole down the street, got hit by a car.
So that's the story he told you?
Oh,
I mean, that's what
man.
I'm kidding. Sam is awesome. I love him.
Dude does live kind of in the middle of nowhere, so who knows?
You guys just did a collaboration with Poor Man's, right?
Yeah, we did actually. Cumulus, pretty popular to say the least with those guys. And John keeps on saying it's because of the label of the can, designed by none other than Bart. Yeah. So we got Bart on the hook for that. He's been doing some can designs for Poor Man, and we've been getting him to do some stuff for us recently as well. And we decided to do something with them, and came out great. People loved it. It's gone, but it may be back in the tank, but I can't confirm or deny that.
Oh.
It will be coming out again, but under a different name.
No, a different name, different. No, I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. We got really good response from them. We're the guys down the street, Poor Man's. I really like them. They're doing great stuff, and it's nice to have some like-minded people so close by in a great town who really kind of work with each other real well. So it's awesome to see them come by our place and stop by and get a beer at their place. But it's fun to have some good people local.
They also have a really kick-ass new Pilsner I actually messaged Ryan and told him I think it's the best beer they've ever made, and he
Nice.
said they're going to be canning it. So
Ooh.
as this episode releases, it is possible that Poor Man's could have their newest Pilsner in cans. So
What's it called?
We got lots of lagers coming out of Ephrata. I mean, this is the lager country after all.
That's true.
That's why we
That's
love-
true.
But not that lager, not the uppercase lager.
Oh,
The other,
oh, yeah. No, that's. Yeah.
uppercase lager.
I wonder, because of the explosion of craft beer, and specifically in this area, and we may have talked about this before. I wonder if you go to a bar now, and if you ask for a lager, if they give you the capital L lager.
I'm pretty sure they do.
Okay.
Probably. I think it depends on the bar.
That's true, because if you go to like a craft beer centric bar, they'll probably ask
Yeah.
you, which one.
If
do you
it's
want?
a bar
We have
where
6 of them.
everybody's drinking Bud and Coors, and
Yeah.
you
Okay,
know,
that makes sense.
there's like a Blue Moon on that's as eccentric as they get. Then, yeah.
I remember going to places.
I drank lager for years.
Oh, for sure.
Pony up to the local bar, give me a
Yeah.
lager.
Yes,
Years
it was.
and years.
It's good and it was cheap.
yeah.
I mean, it's, it for so many people, it was the beer that they grew up drinking. You know what I mean? When they were 21, of course.
Right.
of course.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Grew up in their adulthood drinking.
I remember my friends who lived in Ohio going to college. They couldn't get it at the time, and it was like, oh, can you bring me some back? When we come back for the from break or from the or whatever, because they wanted it because they couldn't get it. It was like our own little Fat Tire from Pennsylvania. Everybody couldn't get Fat Tire in Pennsylvania, and everybody wanted it until it was here.
Yeah, I
Right?
remember when that launched in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
I used to drive to Maryland just to buy New Belgian beer.
Yeah.
Yep. It's something about just not being able to get what you want, and then when you can have it, it's not when it's regularly available, it's
But-
not as sexy, I guess. It's
Famously,
not-
if you try sometimes, you get what you need.
Oh, come on.
oh my gosh.
God damn it. I'm kind of upset I missed that opportunity.
Oh my. All right. Well, so we talked about the foundation of St. Boniface. We talked about hegemony and its importance. We talked about you coming on board. Let's talk about the first time we were there.
Oh, boy.
As longtime listeners will know, that was a watershed evening for my co-host Dan here.
Listen, I would like to mention that the past 5 times you've been on the show, I have not been the one to bring this up.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I am quite all right with this staying in the past.
Yeah. See, what happened was Dan brought it up 2 or 3 times afterwards, and then we gave him shit for bringing it up all the time, so then we just started bringing it up all the time.
It's kind of like the way I don't say smooth anymore.
Exactly. It's the same thing. You've probably said it a lot less than we give you shit for.
Yeah, you guys totally shamed me out of it. I mean, I've got other habits I could use you guys to shame me out of. You shamed me out
Anyway.
of drinking coffee with milk and sugar. So what else? How else do you want to change me?
I don't know why you're using the word shame. This sounds like self-improvement to me.
You're welcome, Dan.
I
You made
mean-
it better.
To be fair, I do owe you guys major thanks for bullying me into black coffee because I can't ever go back. It's got to be black
fair.
coffee or bust.
That's fair.
Anyway,
Wow.
I do think
continue.
we should enlighten anyone listening who may not know.
No.
Basically, Dan just got really drunk the first time.
Super
The
drunk.
first time we recorded, but really drunk. His girlfriend had to drive home. His girlfriend at the time. That's pretty much it. I mean, that's just the only. We just give you crap for saying how it was one of the drunkest nights of your life.
I do remember somebody drinking out of a pitcher. That's what I do.
I do remember pictures. Oh, we went to a restaurant afterwards, and you threw up in the bathroom.
I vaguely remember that.
I do remember that.
Yep.
I don't remember the restaurant, but
I was gonna say, what restaurant did you go to? I
It
don't
was
remember.
no. I forget the name of it, but it's you're driving down whatever that road is that gets you back to 222.
I can picture it.
It's on the right if you're going towards the highway, and then it's on a hill for their parking lot.
The Hilltop.
Is it the hilltop? Is that all it's
It's
called?
on a hill.
It might now be called the Hill. I don't know. I'm not sure. They might have rebranded or changed the name, but yeah, the Hilltop. I think. Yep.
I think it was the only thing in Ephrata that was still open.
think so.
and
Yeah,
that's why I remember
yeah.
it.
I do remember
Lincoln
though.
House was closed.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
After I threw up in the bathroom, I remember coming back and eating my bacon cheese mega fries. They were damn good.
Yeah, I'm sure they were.
I was also really drunk, so anything would have been good.
It probably helped you out in the long run.
Yeah, I think
I'm
so.
Sure.
You didn't get into any tequila. Apparently, they have a really good selection of tequila there.
Oh,
Yeah, that would have been bad.
good.
That would have been bad.
Good for us.
We should mention we have moved on to our next beverage. This is the Birativo, or I guess it's Birativo because there's 2 R's. Right? You trill it if there's 2 R's.
No idea.
Okay, fair. Well, why don't you tell us a little bit about this beer? Because I'm sure you know about.
Well, there's one thing that we've learned. Dane doesn't care about the name of the beer, how you say it, unless you're buying it.
That's true.
All right, so Birativa or Birativa, if you want to roll the R, if I couldn't really get it out there,
It is tough.
is actually a kettle soured, to continue with the theme, lager. So John uses lager yeast. And Meyer lemon and a little bay leaf. And originally we brewed this 2019. I remember this one. And we brewed this with Luca in Lancaster as like a house beer for them. And it's been sitting on the shelf, getting old, but we've had it on the shelf, not brewed it for a while. And John got the hankering to brew it. So we put it back in cans, and just in time for some warmer weather. You got a nice light tartness, 3.6%. So really low ABV, but lots of flavor going on in there, to say the least.
I'll say, this is incredible. Holy cow,
my
this is
God,
great.
Mm-hmm.
This is my summer beer. I'm telling you that. And I tried it earlier this week, and I was like, I need more of this, and I've already gone. We were at Tide House last night, and I bought another 4-pack. And we had the Birativo and gin, or gin and Birativo. What was the name of the cocktail?
Birativo and tonic.
Birativo and tonic.
Okay, I haven't had it yet, but oh my gosh, I've been looking at the description, and I haven't gotten a chance to drink one yet.
Can I ask
just went on the menu the other day.
Really tasty.
Can I ask a clarifying question real quick?
You
said Birativo and gin, but then it turned out to be Birativo and tonic. So
Thinking the same
are we
thing.
adding gin to it or tonic?
Or both.
Or
Both.
Oh, shit.
That sounds really good.
So
It is a Snug Harbor London Dry Gin, blueberry shrub, lemon bay leaf syrup, Birativo sour ale, and tonic water.
You drink it? Yeah. God damn it.
You told me you didn't want
This entire time I'm like, I have gin, I'm fine.
You saw 3 weeks ago. You were said something about the gin. I was like, I thought it was gone, and you were like, I don't really want it. And then a couple.
No, you're right, I did.
And I was like,
I
oh,
did.
Dan didn't want this, and I kind of want a hard drink. So I was like, oh, I'm just gonna finish this gin.
and Wayne made it disappear.
Yeah, so now it's gone.
Hey, man,
it was only that much.
Is that all that was left?
Yeah, there was only.
Oh, I don't remember drinking that much of it.
Yeah, there was
that's a pattern apparently.
maybe slightly more than a shot.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you drank it. It's a shame that we can't. I have vermouth. You want to add vermouth to it?
You've got
I don't know how that
lot
would
of
go.
liquor.
Yeah, I stocked up.
I haven't. I know you made a big haul recently, but I haven't actually looked.
Yeah, had a day off, went to Delaware, spent $150 in booze, and got way more for $150 than I thought I would.
Oh, that's for
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sorry. I was hoping we could try to recreate it here, but
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I told
I
you.
really like gin. I don't
I
drink a
told
lot
you
of
you could
liquor.
drink it, and you drank it.
I don't really like a lot of liquor, but I like gin.
Well, that just means we got to get out to Tide House and try the real thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this is one of the new beer cocktails on our new menu changes. So use the Birativa, little gin, little tonic, and some extras that I don't know what they're all about because mixing drinks is not my thing for sure. But when you got people who do it right, they come out with great things. I'm glad to hear that, Steph, you enjoy it, because it's definitely on my list the next time I'm there and I'm going to have a drink. Let's put it that way.
This beer really is fantastic. And what did you say, 3.6%?
Yeah.
3.6.
This is the perfect summer beer. Steph, I can see why you want it to be your summer beer. I might actually have to do that too.
What I think is really great about it is the lemon flavor is very authentic, like real lemon, and very fresh. Like it's not like I had an expectation of what this was going to taste like, knowing it was a kettle sour with lemons. Okay, that makes sense. I know what it's going to taste like, but it really didn't. It really subverted my expectations in a lot of ways, and a lot of it is the lemon character is not what I expected. It's very nice. It's and it's also not super sour.
So here's what I was going to say about it. It's very pronounced, but also not overwhelming.
It's not like fresh lemon biting. It's a nice essence of lemon.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's really good.
It's not just the sour that's coming through; it's the actual lemon flavor.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of both of them.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah, and even a little like lemon zest, like a little rind type.
Yeah,
thing going
absolutely.
on. Yeah, very good.
So, what are some of the other new things that are on the Tide House menu?
Oh well, we switched out a couple of meals. We got a new array of tacos. Now you're gonna hold on. I have my paper somewhere. Give me a second.
My notes.
I
had my other notes, but I didn't bring the Tide House menu with me. Yeah, we keep some of the same thing staples from menu to menu, like the real popular ones. The smash burger is like the best seller by far, so that was never going to go away. We our pastrami, house made pastrami sandwich is going to stick around because it's made with love and care by the folks in the kitchen. But yeah, we switched out some tacos. We have a new black bean burger and a couple new entrees and starters. But then new drinks. We got to keep things fresh in that area, and we always have the same. I don't want to say same old beer, but we have the same beer coming out of Ephrata, right to Lidditz to keep the folks there quenched. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but the barrel aged ESB on cask. Holy shit!
Yeah, so we have been playing around a little bit with over the last couple of years. John did the mild in some rye barrels. We had gotten some barrels from Stolen Wolf there in Lidditz. So we keep on trying to push some different things out that are unexpected in that manner. Like it's a low ABV English beer and it's in a barrel. Just giving it a different twist on it, and keep people thinking and keep people trying new stuff.
Can I float an idea real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
I'm proud that my brain came up with this one. Birativo, delicious.
Yeah.
A variant of it with lime to pair with the tacos, and the menu item could be called the Beer Taco.
Oh wow. Yeah, okay. I'll pass that one along to John.
Okay.
I think a lime version of this would be awesome.
Oh yeah,
cool,
yeah.
Really, really
Especially if you want to do the gin thing, because usually you put lime in the gin and tonic.
good. So I am disappointed to say, in this theme of gin, was we were actually going to try to barrel age some of Birativo in gin barrels.
Oh wow.
But it just didn't work out for this year. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this one will become a yearly release, and maybe we'll be able to do that in the future. But just wasn't in the cards this year. But I think the gin would work with this, but it would definitely work with the lime. That would
Yeah. So I know you said you were getting barrels from Stolen Wolf. Would you try to get gin barrels from them? Because that's where the now missing gin is from.
Mm-hmm. The now.
Oh, okay.
The since consumed.
There we go. That's
So-
a better way to put it.
So we've actually established a pretty good relationship with a number of distilleries around the state because of the alcohol program at Tide House. So we were trying to get some Philly distilling barrels for that, but we're kind of open for anything. If it works out in the future, that'd be great. It just, the way production was working out this year didn't fit in the cards this year.
Yeah. Fair.
Dan, they also have a hegemony cocktail.
Oh, I want details.
So it's actually like a Sazerac based drink. Sorry. So we got one of the, I don't know what they call it, and I'm going to be shamed by Steve at Tide House. You ever see those like little barrels that sit on some people's bars?
Oh, like real, like this big.
Like, yeah, it's like really
I think
little.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, so we got one of those from Kinsey
Oh.
whiskey, and so he's been aging some of the Hegemony Reserve in there, and has made it into an Imperial Stout Sazerac. And I've been waiting for this one to come to try it. Did you guys try it the other night, Steph?
No, I was
Okay.
a little scared.
I want to raise my hand. I have a question.
Yeah.
What's a Sazerac? I don't know what that is.
It's like a Sleestock. I don't know.
Yeah. I thought Dan would know. He's the mixologist here.
I have no idea.
I am as amateur a mixologist
No, I
as you
know.
can be.
I
I watch a YouTube channel.
I know. All
Yeah.
right.
It's
I
a
know
local variation of a cognac or whiskey cocktail originally from New Orleans, named for the Sazerac de Forge et Fils brand of cognac brandy that served as its original main ingredient.
Okay.
There you go.
So I will give you the list of ingredients if you want to know.
Let's hear
The
it.
list of ingredients includes a Kinsey single honey hive whiskey, and then the Hegemony Reserve Stout that's been aged in that cask, along with some bitters and an absinthe.
See, you skipped the words I couldn't
I
pronounce.
was just going to say, we are all looking at the exact
No,
same thing,
it's
and
actually-
you skipped all
okay.
the words that none of us would know how to pronounce.
I mean, we know how to pronounce Angostura.
Yeah, I do that. It's Pichards.
Pichards.
That's not at
Angostura.
all what I would have said.
And then the other one's Vieux absinthe. Vieux Car. I don't know how you say
Yeah,
that.
sure. Yeah, we can go with that.
But that sounds really interesting. That's
Yeah, it could be one to put you to bed.
I'll take that challenge.
I've never actually.
No, in the winter, they had one. It was called Strong Currents that used black currant in it as the beer. And oh boy, whew, that was definitely one you were like, yep, this is my last one. Good night. It was good. Don't get that wrong. Don't get me wrong.
And Tide House was our third stop of the night. We went to Collusion has a new spot in the alley behind Bull's Head. So we went there to check that out. And then, of course, we went into Bull's Head because I saw they had, was it a Doppelbock? Mm-hmm. Doppelbock. Great idea on a Thursday night. And then we're like, we're going to go over to Tide House. So
Nice. And now you can go and you can drink without having to eat. Not that I didn't want you to eat, but you can go and have a drink. And you don't have to worry about ordering food.
I mean,
Wow,
to be
what a
fair,
concept.
I would order food.
Yeah, the food that's really good. You probably should order food, but yeah.
I mean, I gotta say, I'm looking at the Tide House website, and I'm looking at the regular old cocktails, not the beer cocktails, and even these sound fantastic. I really want to try the strong-armed old fashioned, and I'm also very curious about the beachcomber.
So I've tasted the like most of the strong-armed old fashioned has been around. There's a couple that usually carry over from menu to menu, but the beachcomber is a new one. Definitely a direction in a warmer weather drink. That's kind of what we're shifting to because we all want warmer weather.
Damn
We want
right.
Spring, we want the summer. I'm not ready for 90 degrees, but boy, do I like 70, 72 and sunny every day.
I want to get back to the first episode we recorded at St. Boniface.
Yeah, I thought we could dig up some good. I mean, obviously the big thing was Dan's big night, but
Well, no, I think something that's even bigger is the fact that we referenced something from that episode in
Every
every
time,
single
yeah.
episode since then. It's kind of a big deal.
almost every episode. Sometimes we run out of time.
I think squids have mostly made.
I mean, sometimes it's just squids.
That's true. That's true. I forget. How did it even come up? Was there something about like squid ink?
There was I think we were playing a Weird in My Beer.
Oh, that
and there was
makes
a beer
sense.
with squid ink in it.
No,
Serendipitously,
Jane says no.
is that not what
No.
happened?
That is not. I mean, maybe it did, but from what I remember of that night, because I wasn't quite as far along as
You
some
were
other
like a
people.
sheet and a half to the wind.
No. So actually, blackcurrant stout originally was going to be tried to be brewed with squid ink because it was there was a tattoo parlor in Lancaster who wanted to brew a beer together, and John was going to try to do that, and it didn't work out taste wise. Let's put it that way.
That's right.
But yeah, I think that's what it's from.
No, that's
Unless
not.
there
Yeah,
was
I
some
remember us having that conversation.
Okay.
I was hoping to
Yeah.
make like a really awesome connection because that's the game we're playing today. So I was be like,
Ah.
oh, we're playing the same game, but I don't remember what game we played that episode.
I'm gonna guess libation or
Well,
fabrication.
and I guess,
Just safe
did we
bet.
get into a conversation about if taking ink from the squids
Oh yeah, I guess that kind of makes
is
sense.
that how the whole no squids were harmed thing?
Maybe.
We played
Somebody was
libation.
probably asking about milking a squid or something like that, I bet.
Just beat it with a
You-
baseball
you
bat and
think-
just catch the ink from somewhere.
Whoa.
We played libation or fabrication that night.
Ah, called it.
Does it say that in the notes? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
pulled
does.
up the notes.
Okay. I do remember, though, I think the origins of the squid thing was an outtake. I don't even know if it's in the
Oh,
episode.
I think you're right.
The actual, like, when we came up with that, it was cut out of the episode. It was released as an outtake later.
Man, it's even deeper of a cut than we thought.
Yeah.
Sometimes the best stuff ends up on the cutting room floor, right?
So you can. I'm gonna blow up a spot right now. I'm gonna give away a secret to the internet. So a while ago, we used to publish our outtakes in our newsletter, which we don't really do anymore. I don't think newsletters are. I don't know. I think they're kind of antiquated.
It's like an inconvenience.
But anyway, so we used to publish them in the newsletter. We stopped doing that, and now we just publish them on Patreon. But there is a page on our website that has all the outtakes that were released before we made it a patron exclusive.
That's right.
And there's no link to it anywhere on our website, but if you go to beerbusterspodcast.com/outtakes, you can listen to all the outtakes up until we went to patrons only. And that outtake is in there somewhere, I'm sure.
You
So
guys got to put an Easter egg on your website or something like that.
Where you just like click a certain spot and it takes
Yeah,
you there.
right.
Yeah. Well, it's also not hidden. It's called /outtakes. It's the page. Like, it's not hard. Like,
So I pulled up the notes from that episode, and at the bottom, there's two quotes. One is, "No squids were harmed in the making of this episode," and the other one is, "I really like cleaning."
I don't remember that.
I'm pretty sure that was John.
I was going to say that's definitely
Wow.
Oh man.
See, we don't type those things in anymore. I usually just scribble them on something.
I just write, stuff
Same.
down.
You guys are getting you're slacking, huh?
Apparently.
Yeah. What is happening? What is Dan doing? Dan
Was there an accident and it took out your internet?
I don't know. Dan just jumped up to go fuck with the kegerator. Oh, there's beer coming out of it.
Can I get paper towels?
Yep. Jesus Christ.
Sorry about that.
We're demanding details.
Dan bought a
Is there
Dan
any
bought a
beer
kegerator.
left?
The details are Dan bought a kegerator on eBay.
It wasn't eBay. It was Craigslist.
So Craigslist, even better.
Actually, no. It was Offer Up. That's got a little more legitimacy to it.
Should have just taken my kegerator.
Yeah, I don't think you told me when you were getting rid of it.
I cleaned that thing up. Well, I did convert it to more of a homebrew keg kind of thing.
True.
I converted it back, no problem.
Yeah. I mean, this thing was $150. I've had it for 3 years now. I've got my money's worth out of it. If it breaks, it breaks. It's fine.
Yeah.
So is there any beer left in the keg?
The kegerator I had was given to me, and then I fixed it up and converted it, and then I gave it away. I just felt like it was natural. When somebody gives you something, you just give it away.
Give it away. Give it away. Give it away
forward.
now.
Pay it forward.
Is there any beer left in the keg? I want to know.
Yes.
Oh yeah, the keg was. Well, the keg was barely used to begin with. Like I only had 2 beers out of it.
I've had a few.
But it wasn't like so. The
Easy to lose count.
Yeah, the fixtures, all the fixtures around the tap are like super loose and like constantly need to be retightened and shit. And like we literally put like electrical tape around part of the hosing where it comes into the tap fixture because it was all fucked up when he first got it. And beer was literally spilling out. We were drinking beer as it was coming out.
I know I need to get new lines for it. I know. I'm just lazy.
But so all that happened now was there was a drip where the tap fixture meets the tower bit. It was just like dripping out of there somehow, and it like was enough that it had formed a puddle, and that's what Dan noticed. And now it's not dripping. He fucked around with it. So
I guess it's true what they say. Fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
Hold on. You bought a used kegerator and never replaced the lines?
I cleaned the lines pretty thoroughly.
Okay.
What?
For those of you who can't see Steph's face because it's a recording, the silence tells you enough.
The person I bought it from said they bought it new, and then it just sat there collecting dust. They had one keg in it, and then they just never used it again, so they wanted to get rid of it and recoup some of their money.
They only drove it to church on Sunday.
It only had 300 miles on it.
Fair enough.
Steph said it's a coffee beer on there.
Yeah, coffee brown ale.
So I love coffee beers, but I always buy them thinking, oh yeah, this would be awesome. And then I don't want to drink them at night because I'm really sensitive to caffeine and I'm afraid they're going to keep me up. Do you guys find that?
I figure there's enough of the alcohol counteracts the caffeine enough that it's okay for me.
Okay.
Also, does caffeine actually get into the beer if there's
Yeah,
I mean I don't know the science.
I'm sure.
I think it depends on how it's added.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah,
because some places will add it by like cold brewing and then blending. Some places I know will like dry hop with coffee beans. It depends on, I guess, the usage and how much you're going to get out of it.
I think you're going to get a meaningful amount no matter what, because you're still steeping the coffee in a liquid at some point, which is making coffee. True. Essentially. Right. But if it's whole bean, it's probably not getting a lot. Like I know some people do like whole bean dry hopping.
I think I just kind of figured that the fermentation and the activation of the yeast might counteract it.
I don't think so. No, I think you do get. But yeah, I've thought of that. I've had that thought before. Actually, since Dan got this keg, there's been times where I've been like, oh, maybe I'll, have a beer. And then I'm like, well, that's a coffee beer.
I'll have one in the morning to wake up.
Yeah, I'll have one in the morning.
Yeah, that's kind of frowned upon, I guess, when you go to work.
Yeah. But I've never actually felt the effects of caffeine from a coffee beer that I could recognize.
I could argue. I don't know if I've ever actually felt the effects from coffee, period.
Well, I definitely know I have.
Now that you drink it black.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was shaming.
Yeah, it must have been the sugar that was just coursing through my veins before, and now the caffeine's left to its own devices and isn't strong enough. I don't know. What other white substance could I use to stay awake?
Powdered cream is what you're talking about. That stuff.
Powdered cream.
Again, for anyone who can't see Steph's face.
So Dane, are there other new beers that Boniface is going to be releasing soon?
So we actually we got a pretty busy couple months coming up. Later this month, obviously, we're going to be releasing the 10th anniversary barrel-aged beer, Hegemony and Anniversary Reserve.
Anniversary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, what's it called?
And so we used actually Hidden Still barrels this year. So their David E. Bourbon series. The ones we got were from their double oak version. So we'll see how that comes out a little bit. I think you might be drinking a little bit later. So yes.
Oh, I may want to take this out of the cooler.
Oh yeah, let it warm up a little. Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys got them hot off the presses.
Ooh,
actually.
Man.
Not even waxed, sorry. Not waxed, numbered, or
Oh,
anything.
no, we got the special limited edition electrical tape.
Did you?
Yeah, that's what we got. No, I think Steph put that on to ship it.
You got to save as much wax as you can for the cans.
Yeah. So that we're releasing, I believe you said this is when is this episode being released?
I think a week.
Next Friday, the 16th.
Okay, so this will be coming out actually on the 24th. So April 24th is our the barrel aged version of our anniversary beer this year. After that, we are releasing our Cricker Creek New England IPA with the Lancaster Conservancy. This is the third time we're doing this. Proceeds of that beer, every pint go to the Nature Conservancy to help Lancaster and area waterways. So that's been a pretty popular venture that we've partnered up with them. So I'm excited to have that one back on a little bit of a normal schedule. Let's see. Oh, May. May is mild month, and Winford is going to return for at least one batch. So we, you guys, I think we probably tasted it at some point in the past. Winford replaced our year-round ESB a number of years ago, and so Winford is the birth name of Saint Boniface, and that's where we kind of came up with that name. But it, despite being one of our favorite beers and a beer that I always go back to when we have it on tap, it just doesn't sell to as much as we do, as much as we want it to. So we have found that we've kind of transitioned our English beers to this new series. We call it the English Origin series, and we kind of go through a rotating English style every few months, so that we still get that, that flavor profile or that type of beer in our lineup, but we're not always having the same one. So it helps turn over things a lot more. So, but Winford we haven't had on, for a while now. So we're going to throw that one in on that series. And then I'm trying to convince, have you guys had any of the cask at home beers? Did you see any of that?
No,
Forest and Maine was doing, you should check this out. It's basically beer in a box, like a wine in a box, but it's their cask and it's really good.
Oh, that's awesome.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I hadn't heard of that. That's cool.
So
Dan's looking it up.
So last week, actually, my wife and I were down that way, and timing ended up that we were nearby Forest and Maine, and I was like, I saw it on their social media. I'm like, I gotta try this, and it's like wine in a box. It's 5 liters of mild, and we brought it home and drank it out of some Imperial pints, and man, was it delicious. So I'm trying to convince John to try that. They're not the only ones who are doing it. There's some other breweries around the country, but I thought it was a really ingenious way to maybe market a product a little bit differently.
Yeah, that's cool.
Man, if more breweries did this, I wouldn't need a leaky kegerator.
Yeah, right. You could always have real beer. You should, but if you guys do it, I wonder if there's a way to an effective, cost-effective and logistic way to make it look more like a cask or like a firkin, to somehow shape it like a barrel or something. That would be cool. It would also be probably pretty expensive.
Oh,
yeah,
hilarious. They're just on their Facebook page when they talk about it. It says these 5 liter bag in a box are best kept cold until opened. We recommend opening them upside down to minimize any risk of spill. Once opened, we recommend consuming the beer at a rate that probably isn't what your doctor would approve of.
I will confess that probably happened last week. But no, it was really cool, and I love that style of beer. Those English styles of beer, and if you can get them on cask at your house, I mean, heck yeah. So yeah, I'm trying to get John to try that.
On their Instagram, they say, remember, cask ale was made for slapping.
Wow,
cool.
I did not know that.
Cool.
And I think the only other thing that's interesting that's coming out, we're doing a series May into June, or maybe June. I don't know exactly when the brew dates are going to end up being. We're calling it the Summer Slammer series. We're doing three fruit ish beers, but don't worry, not like tons and tons of fruit, but enough to know that it's there. We're doing an apricot kolsch, a peach goza, and pineapple kiwi wit.
Oh,
yeah. So we're gonna package them all in 12-ounce cans. That was the plans originally. So and release them every couple weeks as the weather warms up, and hopefully give everybody some good brews to celebrate the warming weather.
Very cool. Very exciting.
Speaking of good brews.
Speaking of good brews, are we ready to move on?
Yeah, I could use another beer.
Do you want to move on and then do the game?
I feel like that's the best move.
I think we should open this.
You think we should go right into that?
I mean, we
Yeah,
still.
so we can sip it and let it sit, and then sip it a little more, and then let it sit.
Well, here.
We also still have crowlers.
I know.
Well, there's no way you and I are drinking this whole bottle, Dan. I mean, that's just
So you
probably
need
not going to
these
happen. I'm
things.
just going to put it out there. Oh, one of those recapper guys. I was thinking of putting the tape back on, sticking
and
it
I
back in
have
the fridge,
my electrical tape.
because I think it'll be good for at least a couple days if we do that. But I don't think Dan and I can handle this whole bottle.
No, because we have other stuff we want to drink.
Because there's other beers. We could, if there was the only thing we were drinking, or this and one other thing, it'd be fine. But yeah.
And there's always.
So which
Oh, yeah,
which
you're
one
one
you
of
guys
those
opened the barrel aged?
Yep.
Yeah, Steph has decreed that we're doing it. I thought we were saving this for like the end, but
Yeah, I kind of figured this would
Fuck
be
it.
like end of the episode,
Yeah.
last call territory.
Well, no, I figure like we don't want to drink it all right now.
no, that's fair. Actually, what I was gonna do, and since Dane just got up, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna get hegemony or anniversary reserve or anniversary glasses specifically for this beer, so we can pour the other beers and have this.
Oh, wow, good thinking. Good thinking.
Oh no, this one's not going to be on Untapped yet.
Oh, it is not.
I'm probably not allowed to add it.
I'll delete it. I'm just kidding.
You would. You would. Yeah, because you have it with the little image thingy. I don't have that power.
No, you don't. I mean, I guess I could add it while we're sitting here.
I mean, yeah, it would be something off of your to-do list. We're just here to help.
I won't have the image here with me. You want me to add it?
Please.
Please.
Are we adding things to
So-
Untapped?
Yep.
I'm opening both of them, by the way.
You're opening the red and
Red and blue.
nice.
Wait, do
Well,
we have?
You should have red. I gave red to you when I bought
just
it.
grabbed-
So, yeah, I didn't drink it.
I didn't know what all was sent because Dan got the beer when it came, so I just pulled out some shit before he set up his computer.
There it is. I'm not gonna lie. I thought there was 9.
Oh yeah, you know what? I
Unless.
may have thought it was 9 as well.
Oh, because there is a 9.
There's a 9 in there. I thought there was a 9 in there. That's a 9er confirmed.
Yeah, we have a 9. I think I might still have an 8.
Ooh, definitely don't have an 8. Dane, do you still have a 5?
Do I?
Yeah. Anywhere?
Yes.
Okay.
We actually we're actually going to be selling some verticals.
Oh, okay.
In a box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we saved some of nearly all of them. Now we want to do some QC in the next couple weeks to make sure we're not putting out junk. But yeah, we have. I think the only thing we don't have, and I have to go back and check. We might not have Blue Wax 5 because we only had a real small number of that one. But yeah, we're gonna do boxes with red and blue of all of them, an anniversary glass. And yeah, we're going to be selling those later this month when we release the barrel age.
If you need help with the QC, just let me know.
Okay. I should have sent them all. We could have revisited the first time we recorded.
Oh God. Oh God. I mean, I know the liver is a magic organ and it regenerates, but I don't think mine can handle that anymore.
Yeah.
Steph, I'm working on that for
Getting
you.
up there. Do
Can always count on you, Dean.
you still have the paper towels?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Because these bottles are leaving
Ah.
rings on the table, and I know Dan won't have that.
Oh, these bottles are leaving. Rings on the table.
Rings on the table. To be fair, I have a desk upstairs that is basically this. Oh,
Stack of coasters. I knew
basically
they
a
were-
smaller version of this exact same table, and there is, and this might be a little weird, but there's a spot on the edge where like my keyboard is, where like I rest my hand, where the top has worn off
Oh geez.
for my hand resting there. So apparently the finish on this table isn't the best.
And when you put bottles on it, it's going to make it even worse.
Yeah. There we go. We got coasters. We got a whole stack.
I do find it kind of funny how Dan cares about the tabletop.
Well,
It's a piece of furniture.
it's also a tabletop that you would notice if like there was shit.
Yeah. It's not just like like it's an actual dining room table. Like
It's very adult of you.
yeah. IKEA was discontinuing it, and they had a bunch, and they put it on sale for $60, and it's usually like a $250 table. So I figured, okay, yeah, let's do this.
This has been Thrifting with Dan.
All right. There's no picture and no additional information, but it is there for you, Steph.
How many beers do we think have been added to Untapped during a podcast? Because this has happened a lot.
Has it really?
Yeah.
But usually it's me. Usually it's me adding it.
Yeah, because Steph has to, if it's not on Untapped and we're drinking it on the show, she has to put it up there so she can check it in as the podcast.
Well, that used to be how you
That's
did
how you-
the list of beers.
Mm-hmm.
You would look at what was checked in, and that's how you would do.
Well, and I think it's also good to just have a record of all the beers we've had on the podcast somewhere on the internet.
Yeah. There it is. It's up. Beer Busters is going to be the first one to check it in.
Nice.
And Dan was number 2. He beat me.
I was hoping to beat you checking it in as us.
Not quite.
All right, so what do you think? I actually haven't tasted it, but off of the tank. This is the first time out of the bottle.
It's lovely.
I mean,
Absolutely, it is.
It's just as good as I knew it was going to be.
It's got a very sweet aroma. You can tell there's some gravitas to it. And then it's
Some balls, some
those are
huevos.
balls. Those are balls. And then, of course, in the flavor, it's everything you would want it to be. It's sweet.
I really
it's
like
bitey.
tasting it side by side with the red.
Oh, I guess we got to do that now.
Oh, now we need another.
I'm telling you.
Because this had the sour, the kettle sour in it. I could just rinse it with a little bit of the beer, but whatever, it's fine. I don't have a wood.
It's not the best glassware for it.
No, it's fine. I just wanted one goblet if we're drinking this. We should have one goblet. So this is actually waxed. This could be a disaster.
No, it opened really easily. I used my free will. It should have a corkscrew on it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Anyway,
there's no corkscrew in it, so you're good.
Yeah, there's a corkscrew in it.
Well, I should hope not.
That way, through the hand. That's what I would do.
Should I saber it?
Do you have a saber?
Oh my gosh, because that'd be impressive.
Yeah, I do.
We could actually just tell people you have a saber, and I can go, "Whoa!" and nobody will actually know.
I actually do have a couple of old swords in a storage unit.
Oh, that's right.
It's nowhere near here. But
Yeah.
Ooh, the side by side, definitely. That's awesome.
Yeah, it really pulls out the nuances of the barrel when you taste the base beer next to the barrel aged.
But the barrel's not too much. Like sometimes I've had some beers in the past where it's just too boozy.
Yeah.
You get a little bit of the booze and some of the barrel character, and that's what I'm looking for when I drink a barrel aged stout. Just not something that has a million adjuncts and barrel aged and booze. Just something nice and lots of flavors going on there without artificial stuff and craziness.
Yeah, when you smell the barrel aged, you definitely know it's a barrel aged beer, and then it's actually quite pleasantly surprising when you drink it and it doesn't smack you in the face.
Yeah. And I think it actually, having them side by side, reinforces how subtle the alcohol taste is.
Yeah.
Because you definitely get it. In the aroma, it's
for sure.
a stark difference, but in the taste, the alcohol is very subtle, which I like in a barrel aged beer. I don't like super hot barrel aged beers.
Which is also why I plugged the bottle already, so I'm not tempted to pour more in. Remind myself that it is a 10.5% beer.
Yeah. I did notice when I poured, the base has a darker colored head.
Oh, really?
I think maybe it's just because of the glass that it's in.
It might be that.
Yeah, I know maybe they're not that different. It looked like, and I thought that was weird, but I think I was just seeing things. So never mind. Strike that comment from the record.
No, I think when I poured the red wax, I think, it could have been the way I poured it. It had a more pronounced head, so maybe that's just why it appeared darker because there was more of it.
Yeah, I think that is the case, and that may just be because the red was actually wax sealed and the other was electrical tape sealed.
Yeah.
So there may have been some, egress of air.
They say the red
I
filters
might want to
through.
consider the electrical tape seal. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it's sticking on the side of the table.
I mean,
here.
I also have duct tape upstairs if we need.
Dan has a wine stopper thing, but I feel like it's not a good seal.
It's not the best. The other one is in use. I mean,
yeah, I feel like that just doesn't really seal. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
This has been an episode full of weird tangents.
I would expect no less.
No, I guess this might be an appropriate time to bring this up. I mean, you guys typically have make a day of it when you release these bottles, the anniversary day and then the barrel age day. But holding events right now is sort of in a strange land. So what are your plans for the day that you release the blue wax bottle? And then a continuation question after that is, what are your plans for all the other wonderful events that you guys usually do during the year?
Yeah, it's definitely been a struggle. Just even trying to plan, because you never know what next week or 2 weeks from now is going to bring. So it stinks to try to pour time and effort into planning things that you don't know if you'll be able to do them or not with the current regulation. So typically in early February when we release the red wax bottles, it's that's our anniversary party. That's when we'll have firkins. That's when we'll make a big to-do of it. Sell a special glass for that year. This year we're actually bringing back like the original T-shirt that we had at the brewery. And we're selling the 10th anniversary T-shirt of that. That normally would have happened in early February, but we kind of put all that on hold, hoping that things would be a little bit more open at the end of April. When we did the barrel age version, but we're still just kind of doing a bottle release, and with those extra additions, those other things for sale, including the verticals like we talked about. We're reluctant to try to plan a big event because really you still don't know what may happen between now and then. Keep your fingers crossed that things keep on going in the right direction, but not everybody's comfortable in that situation. You don't want to push people away because of maybe things that you do overall as a brewery right now. It's a tough time.
Yeah, it is. And I think it's a delicate, because it's the elephant in the room. Like, there have been businesses that have acted irresponsibly in the course of the last year with regards to guidelines to stem the pandemic. There's also been small businesses that have been frustrated with confusing and sometimes like conflicting and suddenly changing government guidelines, which I totally get. But it's going to be weird now because we are starting to like enter a phase where like this really is like the point where things are going to start to get back to something close to what people call normal. So it is weird to gauge that sort of like, do you come out of the gate end of April, so many people are vaccinated, we're having a big blowout, and then people are like, that's a little, or do you like still be really restrictive and being like, we're having a very limited thing, and then not, miss the potential of like an event that could bring a lot of people.
Yeah,
it's tough to navigate.
It's been tough balancing act because everybody has their own comfort level with things, and it's just that we want to continue things going in the right direction, and the last thing you want to do is be irresponsible or make people feel uncomfortable. And at some point people do have to make choices, whether on their own comfort level, when people start to open up and do the things, because maybe not everybody is going to be comfortable yet. But like you said, we're all hoping for some sense of normalcy soon.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to do a big blowout at the end of April, just to I think we're going to put it on tap. We're going to have the bottles. We'll have the verticals, the glasses, the T-shirts, but not make a huge event where people are nuts to butts in our tap room, to say the least.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the way to do it. Yeah.
Is Bonifest even like a possibility in your guys' mind right now, or?
So it is. I would say it's definitely not happening in June. Because at this point we would be well into planning stages, design of logo, tickets, t-shirt, bands, all of that stuff. Because realistically, we would be 2 months, almost 2 months to the day of when Bonifest would be. It's always that first Saturday that coincides with St. Boniface Feast Day on June 5th. So the last real in-depth discussion we had about it was pushing it to sometime in the fall, and revisiting it early summer and seeing where things are, see where the direction things are going. Because the last thing we want to do is plan this big event and people not show up because they're still not comfortable. Bonifest for us is it's not a money-making venture. It's like a customer appreciation thing for us. We love throwing the party to see all the people who have supported us for years and years and years come out. So that's what we want from it. We want to see all those people. So the last discussion we had was maybe doing something late September, making it into like a Bonifest, Oktoberfest, Bontoberfest. I don't know what you want to call it.
I keep wanting to say Bonobo Fest. And that's totally different thing.
What?
So nothing has been set in stone. We're worried right now, day-to-day operations and getting things going in the right direction. But that is something we've actually tossed around. So we'll see. We'll see what the next couple months bring, because it's an interesting time.
I feel like if you do it at the end of September, the weather is probably going to be much, much, much better. And like beginning of June isn't super duper hot, but end of September gives you a chance
There's been
for
super duper hot Bonifest.
Oh no, for sure. It's traditionally not, like, obviously not the hottest time of year, but I think end of September is probably going to be more well received. Especially as we're all getting out of this and everybody wants to get outside. Like, if summer rolls around and everything's open up and it's 100 degrees outside, I might not want to go to an event, even though like I have cabin fever. But you bring around the end of September and everybody's cool and things have been open again for a while. That to me makes perfect sense.
And then moving forward, you can do both Bonifest and Bontoberfest.
There you go.
I love that name, Bontoberfest. I really hope you do that.
Yeah. I was wondering if Boniface would have a problem with the name.
Oh,
well,
theirs would have two ends.
That's true.
Yeah, that's how you would know the difference. Theirs would be Bontoberface.
Or maybe we just get a keg from them and put it on as a guest.
I was gonna say, Sam would be up for something like
Even
that.
better idea.
A cask of Mooey.
There you go.
Cask of Mooey. Oh, I love it. I wish you could buy Mooey in a box.
Oh, there you go. No, I actually just talking about it, I'm like, oh man, we gotta talk to the guys at the Lidditz Craft Beer Fest, because I don't know what their plans are, but that's always around that same time of year. So we'll have to coordinate with them once things start moving on a little bit further in this.
Well, I did see that the High Brew Nation people just announced an event they're doing was that in June? I just got an email about that.
Oh, I missed that.
They're doing a safe PA flavor outdoor beer fest. I was kind of surprised that to see something like that, but
I think this, first of all, I think beer fests in general were at a tipping point even before this.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I think it's almost given some breweries an excuse to be like, nah, no, we're not coming. Like, I don't know. It's tough to really measure like a return on going to a brew fest at this point in our existence. I've heard stories of people giving away like tickets for free pints. Come visit our tap room with a free pint, and like you gave out 200 of them and maybe got 10 back. Yeah. People actually came in. So, Brewfests have become a very different thing in the last 5 years. I think it's more of a let's see how much I can drink and how quickly, instead of an appreciation of the beer and being introduced to different styles. It's which one's higher, which is the higher ABV. And that saddens me, because, years ago, that's how we were able to get our name out and get, in people's, No, I'm not going to say it. Get people to taste our beer. Get people to taste our beer and figure out who we were.
The thing you weren't going to say, there are other fests for that.
Yeah. So, but I think it's it's there. We're getting emails about all sorts of fests that are coming out, and we're at the point where we're not doing anything yet.
So this is actually a wine event. It's called Taste of Pennsylvania, June 5th, which I thought was kind of soon, but there's going to be 12 wineries, food trucks, and vendors. But they're they have their whole safety plan laid out, and it's going to be in a huge area. And I mean, they seem to have a solid plan. So I mean, people that are ready, go for it. But
I think that kind of goes to like a lot, like what Dane was saying. It's not so much about like it's possible to do an event like that and make it safe. Like I think at this point, like we know enough about like the procedures and guidelines that we can figure these sort of things out. People have come up with a lot of innovative stuff, but I think it's more about comfort level than it is about actual safety. Like that event could be perfectly safe for everyone attending, but a lot of people are going to hesitate nonetheless. And that's...
Well, here's how my brain works. You know how I am crazy obsessed with people tapping beers, and when they let the tap hit my glass, I have a big problem with that. I mean, if you think about a beer fest, you're handing your tasting glass to someone and they are tapping your beer, where at a wine fest, theoretically, you can hold on to your own glass and someone can pour from a bottle and no one actually needs to touch your glass, and there's no your glass touching a tap. So even like those are little things that I think about. I mean, you could go where they're pouring from bottles or cans or something, but
clap your hands.
I don't know, just somebody else touching your glass, that not something you would have thought about before.
But now, you do think about those things.
And you did say about, sort of like this maybe negative evolution of beer fest, but one thing I've really enjoyed are these virtual beer fests, and we've been partaking in quite a number of them. And in fact, we have 4 coming up over the next couple months. But I really love getting the beer shipped to my house, sometimes with like cool swag and stuff, and live streaming stuff that you can watch, and being able to share the beers with like a group of friends, nobody having to drive, like not having to wait in line anywhere. Like I hope that even post COVID and all of this, that this is something that event planners continue to, even if they want to do live beer fest, like having a virtual component to it. I've really enjoyed it.
I definitely think there will be an aspect of that holds on after this, but there have been some really cool things. Like I don't know if you guys saw the Kennet Brew Fest, what they did.
Yeah, I heard about that.
So they did in the fall and in the winter. It was like basically a mixed case offering for their case. So for their in replace of their brew fest. So you could sign up and buy one of 2 different cases, and they just asked it to be like a 16-ounce can from a brewery, and you can send whatever you want to. And then you go and pick up your case, and it's 24 different beers from 24 different breweries, and like that's the ultimate mix pack. Like that's awesome.
That is really cool.
But I really appreciate people who thought of some different things and did unique offerings for people to still bring awareness to our industry.
Yeah, I think it'll be cool seeing the virtual as like an extra feature of a beer fest or another event. Like you have a fest, but then you also sell a virtual participation package where like that like opens you up to people who can't, COVID aside, the fact that that's now something people have normalized as doing, that allows people to experience events that they couldn't physically get to. So say like, the beer fest that Beer Advocate does, the Extreme Beer Fest. They did it virtually last time around, and I think it would be cool, like even when it comes back to in person, to have that virtual, because like going to Boston's a big fucking deal if you live where we do. That's a long ways away, but it's a cool fest, and to be able to buy the beer and then have like parts of the fest that are like broadcast over the internet, have events that like mix the in-person and virtual, have events or features that are just virtual. I think it'd be really cool, like tying that virtual attendance into real live in-person events, including beer fests. That's
I
my.
bet somebody will do it.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Well, with that said, shall we transition into the game?
Oh, we still got to do that, don't we?
Yeah, we do. I know. You're not off the hook yet.
That's a thing we do on this show. Sure, let's play a game.
I'd like to play a game.
Cheers, Internet, and welcome to Happy Fun Time Games, the podcast trivia segment that, much like Dan, likes to dabble in mixology.
Oh, boy.
More on that in a second, but we are joined by our good friend, Dane Shirey from St. Boniface Brewing Company in Ephrata, Pennsylvania, longtime friend of the show. Thanks
so much for having me, guys.
Yeah, thanks for being on the show and competing in a grueling contest against my co-hosts, Dan and Steph, in today's Happy Fun Time game, which is a variation of a traditional favorite. Today we are playing There's Weird in My Booze.
Oh, boy.
So, you know how this game normally works. I tell you about a beer that has a weird, unusual, gross, strange ingredient. A couple multiple choice options. You have to guess what that ingredient is. But today, we are talking about unusual alcoholic beverages beyond beer, because this is episode 216 of the podcast, and we've played this game a lot, and I've often run out of weird beers to use or come across the same ones over and over again. So I will say today's game is mostly shots, all of which are kind of gross, and then one historical alcoholic beverage at the end. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. You have to tell me what the weird ingredient is.
Are there any infected zits or whatever?
No, the infected
was?
whitehead, but
Yeah.
yes, I did want to bring that up. All of these shots are in that same gross shot tradition. If you want to see a shot like this called an infected whitehead, which was basically a Bloody Mary with cottage cheese, there's video of that as a punishment available on our Patreon. So if you're a patron, you can go check that out. It was a Greg Orth episode. I don't remember the episode number, but
Didn't somebody like that?
yeah, our good friend and patron Jen McDonald
That's right. It was Jen.
loved the drink. Everyone else hated it.
He was also a little drunk.
Well, she's always a little. I mean, you know, she likes to have fun.
So the loser doesn't have to do one of these, is what you're telling me, though, right?
No, because of COVID and because this is all virtual, there are no Happy Fun Time punishments right now. So there's no prize for winning, and there is no punishment for losing. But we are going to talk about a lot of really gross shots that you can order at your local bar when it opens back up.
I think Dan should just have to do it because he's next to you.
I mean, do we have the things to make any of these?
We probably do. Some of them, anyway. Well, let's find out. Let's find out by playing the game, beginning to my left with Dan. Our first shot concoction is one you may have heard of. It's called a smoker's cough, and it lives up to its repulsive name. It consists of only 2 ingredients. One of those ingredients is Jägermeister, and the other is not Jägermeister.
Okay.
Is it horseradish, mayonnaise, or sriracha?
Ooh, I'm going to say horseradish.
Dan going with the horseradish. Steph, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking horseradish also.
All right, horseradish. Finally, Dane, agree, disagree. Horseradish, mayonnaise.
I'm going mayonnaise.
Oh,
Going
Are you the
with
kind of person that
mayonnaise.
thinks mayonnaise is spicy?
No.
It's a bit
But I'll
rich.
tell you why then. I'll tell you why after we're done.
Okay, well, you are the only person who was correct.
Oh, man.
Because it is, in fact, mayonnaise. And please, because I don't have much better to add, so please tell me why you picked mayonnaise.
I picked that because when I think of a smoker's cough, you think like that phlegmy-ness. And that's what I'm thinking the mayonnaise is supposed to be like. It's awfully disgusting, but that's what was in my head.
Exactly correct, yes. As someone who has a fondness for mayonnaise that many find troubling, even I think this is stomach-churning. It's really gross. The origins of the smoker's cough are unknown. Obviously, the mayonnaise makes sense given the connection to phlegm, but I can tell you one thing certainly, no one has ever enjoyed ingesting one. But yeah, it was mayonnaise. So Dane got that one right, off to an early lead. The only one correct on the first question. Moving on to Steph for our next concoction of the game. Next up, another shooter made with Jaeger and only one other ingredient. This one, however, employs a little bit of mixological inception. To make this drink, you take a thing that has been soaked in Jägermeister and place it in a cup. You then fill that cup with more Jägermeister, drink it, and then presumably eat the thing. What is the thing? Is it a pickled egg, a marshmallow, or a garlic clove?
Oh.
Oh.
What is wrong with people?
I'm gonna say a pickled egg.
Steph going with the pickled egg. Dane, what do you think?
What was the name of the shot? Did I miss that?
It has not been given because it would give away the answer.
Oh.
Okay. I'm gonna guess the garlic clove.
All right, going with the
Is that what
garlic
it was?
clove. That was C. C was garlic clove.
I think I'm also going garlic.
All right, we've got a pickled egg, 2 garlics. Nobody going for marshmallow. Steph was correct. It is a pickled egg.
It's such a German thing to eat a pickled egg with Jägermeister.
Yes. It's called, anyone want to guess? An Eggermeister.
I was getting there. The wheels were fucking turning.
Because it couldn't be called anything else.
Wah, wah, wah.
And if you're wondering, it turns out that yes, you are supposed to eat the egg. Recipes for this drink commonly include the instruction, shoot and chew the egg before swallowing to enjoy your Eggermeister.
Here we do a red beet egg in Berks County.
Yes, exactly.
Still, you have to chew it though.
That's probably a thing, though. It's probably a thing. We are moving briskly along, and Dane is up first. On our next one, this one is a shot that is, again, simple and only has 2 ingredients, but we'll leave the Jaeger and the eggs behind, and we'll trade mixological inception, which is hard to say, for a little bit of chemistry. The booze in this drink is Bailey's, and the other ingredient is added to effect an unpleasant reaction when the drink is swirled in the mouth. Is that ingredient Dr. Pepper, lemonade, or lime juice?
It is lime juice.
Dane going with the lime juice. Dan?
I'm going to say lime juice too.
Limes. Steph, agree, disagree?
Yeah, it'd kind of curdle it, wouldn't it? I'll say lime juice.
Everybody's saying lime juice. Everybody is correct because it does in fact curdle it, although lemonade would do that too. Just saying.
Yeah, but lemonade would also have sugar in, and I feel like you don't need more sugar with Bailey's.
I mean, it's not Bailey's. When I was in high school, I would always, for lunch, I would get chocolate milk and a thing of lemonade, and then when they were at the bottom, I would
In high school, I would get chocolate milk and Bailey's. Oh, chocolate
Is
milk
this
and
called the
lemonade?
cement mixer?
Yes, it's called a
Oh,
cement
shit!
mixer. It's called a cement mixer. Bailey and lime juice are layered. They pour over the spoon, do that fancy thing so they don't mix together, into a shot glass, and then you drink it, and you're supposed to swirl it or shake your head. And the acidic lime juice curdles the cream-based Baileys and makes a cement-like mixture in your mouth that apparently sticks to your teeth and everything, and it's not fun. It's the only
I knew
reason.
the answer. I had to slow play it, so I didn't. So I didn't give it away for sure.
That's fair. I appreciate that. Very good poker face. Yeah, this is the kind of drink that people only ever order to watch someone else drink it who doesn't know what it is. We are swinging back around. We are on to drink number 4 and back to Dan to guess first. And this one is meant to be an alternative to another well-known shot that is based on bourbon. But this drink starts with gin. To this is added salt and pepper and another kitchen staple. Is it melted butter, raw egg yolk, or condensed milk?
gin, salt, pepper, and then blank.
Yep.
Melted
And
butter.
you guys finished your gin.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
Could have made this
I should have saved it. Oh, darn. I should have got more. Egg yolk. What was, I'm sorry.
Melted butter,
butter,
raw
egg
egg yolk, or condensed milk.
gin, salt, pepper, condensed milk. I'm going
Dan,
C.
all right, Dan is going with condensed milk. Steph, what do you think?
I'm going to say the egg yolk.
Steph going with the egg yolk. We have 2 different answers so far. First time in the game. Dane, what do you think?
I'm going egg yolk as well.
All right,
Uh-oh.
Steph and Dane with the egg yolk. Dan with the milk. Dan was the only one who was incorrect.
Damn it!
Because it is, in fact, raw egg yolk. Gin, raw egg yolk, salt, and pepper. It's called a prairie chicken and is meant to be an alternative to the prairie oyster, which is made with bourbon, Tabasco, and a whole raw egg. So there you go. There you go.
Sounds like Rocky would drink that, obviously.
Obviously.
I thought it was unhealthy to eat raw eggs.
Well, you can get salmonella.
I mean, yeah.
But supposedly the raw egg thing, like you get more protein.
Is it
why
more
it's like
protein?
I don't know. People
the
did
gin
it.
must kill it.
Yeah, the gin kills.
Yeah,
all
right.
things.
I mean, you're right. Rocky would do it. I was watching a show the other day, and somebody cracked an egg into a beer. That was a thing.
Ew,
yeah, and
why?
just it's a character who needs help.
I have seen like mixology people on like Facebook and Instagram doing drinks with like frost egg whites.
Oh yeah, I did a whiskey sour the other day that had an egg.
Yeah, and that actually sounds kind of good.
Yeah.
Like some of them turn out, they look like it has a nice like smoothie consistency.
Yeah, and like it separates from the drink to froth at the
Yeah,
top.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it'd be like a head.
Yeah, interesting. Anyway, that beer had raw egg yolk in it. Beer, drink.
Bleh.
We have come to our
it is.
penultimate question of the game. This and one more to go to decide our big winner, and we have come to Steph to guess first. On this one, the last shot of the game. This one comes from a lovely establishment that is called Big Dick's Halfway Inn,
Of course.
sitting waterside in the Ozarks of Missouri. This bar/restaurant and former bait shop has a long history and a strange and somewhat upsetting tradition. Upon request, they will serve you a shot of your choice, then add a little bit of local flair. Is it mealworms, roasted grasshopper, or a live minnow?
Look at her face.
Can I say none of the above?
One of them is true, unfortunately.
They can see your face this time.
No matter what you say, this abomination still exists in the world.
Oh. I don't know. I'll say the minnow because that's the most preposterous thing. So that's probably it.
All right, fair enough. I appreciate your reasoning. Dane, what do you think?
I'm going with the mealworm, I believe.
Okay, going with the mealworms. And Dan?
Well, it sounds like a 3-hour stomach ache, so I'm going minnow.
Go. A bad pun, but the correct answer.
Yes!
Yep, Big Dick's.
All
Famous.
for a damn terrible joke.
Big Dick's famous for the live minnow shot. They boast of originating this off-menu item on their website, which, incidentally, is as tacky as you would imagine. Upon visiting BigDicksHalfwayIn.com, which I suggest you do,
no.
you are greeted with an image that is reminiscent of the Big Johnson T-shirts that dotted boardwalks back in the old days.
What is it?
Do you remember those? BigDicksHalfwayIn.com. In the menu section of this painfully dated website, you will find they claim minnow shooting is a popular summer sport. They call it an exciting and sometimes crazy antic, swallowing live minnows while you're cheered on by fans of all ages. They go on to say it's not unusual to hear screams of excitement coming from any corner of the establishment, and probably also the soft pleas of minnows.
Oh my gosh.
They didn't say that part of the website.
It's the picture is like if Joe Cool got
a
a
dick
smushed
for a nose?
together and then turned around. Like it's almost like the
His
hump.
nose is a
but
dick.
no, that's I know it's obviously supposed to be a dick, but it's also like a shitty Joe Cool. That's terrible.
Did you guys go to the right website?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, I went to Biggest Dicks Halfway In.
Oh, that was your mistake. That was your mistake. So we have one more question left in the game. So traditionally at this point, we're going to add up the scores real quick so that I can try to remember what we do with that information moving forward. Whether or not I do is up for debate. But Dan is sitting with 2 points. Steph has 4 points. Steph is kicking ass this time around. Dane has 3 points. So going first is a disadvantage.
Yeah, I know.
Which means whoever is winning should probably go first. Therefore, Steph is going to go first.
Oh.
And then Dane, and then Dan. Also, 1 + 1 = 2.
1 + 1 + 2 + 1.
It always has and always will. All right, so we're starting with, I already forgot, Steph. Our last beverage is not a shot, as I mentioned, but is in fact an ancient drink from the East. It has that traditional old-timey recipe of taking something a little bit gross and then leaving it lying around to get even more gross. This drink is reported to be as off-putting as it sounds and has the consistency of runny yogurt.
Oh, no.
It's made by fermenting something that the people on the plains of Central Asia would have plenty of access to. Is it horse milk, goat urine, or sheep dung? Silence speaks volumes.
Sheep dung.
Steph is going with the sheep dung. Dane, what do you think?
I had in my head before you read it, I had yak's milk. So I don't know if horses make milk, but I'm going horse milk because Steph didn't say it, and I need to have something different than her.
All right, fair. All right, going with the horse milk. And finally, Dan.
I think I'm going to say horse milk also because they are mammals, and I hope they make milk.
Okay. Also very good logic. Dane, your gambit pays off. You are now tied with Steph because the answer was, in fact, horse milk. Yes, nice. Although dairy isn't something you would normally associate with a lot of Eastern cuisine, this drink called kumis is a traditional drink made of fermented mare's milk. Made from unpasteurized milk stirred over a few days while it's fermenting, it is an effective way of preserving milk, but I think cheese is a little bit better. There is, if you're wondering, a similar drink that's made with camel's milk that is apparently much smoother. So if you can't handle the mare's milk, you can do the fermented camel's milk. It drinks a little easier.
Wonder if you could do a side-by-side.
I would love to do, yes.
If anybody out there has camel milk, we can try.
A side-by-side for fermented horse and camel milk virtual beer fest.
Yeah. Annivermilkary. So
let's add up. That should be the episode title. Annivermilkary. That's it right there. Add up the points and see where everyone stands. Who won big? Who lost big? So we have two people tied for first place, which I mentioned earlier. Dane and Steph, both with 4 out of 6 points. Congratulations. Coming up right behind them with 3 out of 6 points is Dan. But since there's no prize for winning and no punishment for losing, and we're all socialists, everybody gets 10 points and everybody wins. Thank you, Laura, for destroying capitalism on Beer Busters.
I'm going to say, if we're all socialists, can I just have like universal health care instead of not having to go through a punishment?
Dude, it's a fucking podcast game. I can't give you health care. But what I can do is shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon for contributing and donating and keeping all of this craziness going, even through a global pandemic. We would like to shout out our most generous patrons on Patreon. I would like to mention this list is in a different order than it normally is.
Oh, what?
I mixed it up.
Oh, God.
Beginning with James Lamberg.
Yeah, that's a good, 9 inches.
The one and only That's No Baloney, Joe Mansell. Look into your heart. Ben Mengel.
I love how big it is.
Chris Mahoney.
Tofurkey.
Dana.
Sprinter Dan.
Sean Sullivan.
It's metal.
PA Brew Review.
Yeah, Dane.
Topher Simmons.
Filled with yummy goodness.
Jill Chivers.
Put it in your mouth.
Eric Dixon.
9.
Jen McDonald. Go back in time. And Brian Mills.
Vindicated.
If you want to find out how you can get on this list and get other cool behind-the-scenes perks, including Last Call, access to other bonus content, our extra podcast about movies called Blockbusters, and any other stuff that we decide to give to you for keeping this podcast happening, go to patreon.com/beerbusters. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, please like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you for watching. Let's pay some bills.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
Hey, Siri, what is Tagalog?
I found something on the web about what is Tagalog. Check it out.
Thanks. I was hoping you were going to be a little more articulate. Apparently, it's a language. Do you want to learn how to speak it? Well, if you do, Rosetta Stone can help. They set the standard in learning to enable people to change their world by learning a new language through innovative, technology-driven language learning solutions used by thousands of schools, businesses, and even the government. Millions of people around the world have learned to speak new languages with Rosetta Stone. They have common stuff like English, Spanish, and Mandarin. They also have more obscure languages like the aforementioned Tagalog, Swahili, and Swedish. They have apps available on iOS and Android, so you can take your learning with you. Also, for listeners of Beer Busters, they are offering a 24-month subscription for less than $8 per month. To get in on that offer, you can go to rosettapodcast.com/beerbusters. 2 years of Rosetta Stone, less than $8 a month at rosettapodcast.com/beerbusters. All right, are we opening another beer?
I think so. We have crowlers.
So
We
have
do.
biscuits.
Well, Dane, I think, wants to force us to drink an IPA.
You don't have to. No.
I trust
Honestly.
St. Boniface with IPAs.
Well, this is a new one. We should definitely drink it.
Yeah.
It is new. No, but you don't have to. I just figured.
Here's my secret to recapping a crowler.
Oh, what is that?
Ooh,
Oh, that's one of
nice.
those holster guys.
Oh, I thought that was a gong.
Does it hold it
A little mini gun.
pretty decently?
Yeah, well, I'm planning to drink it tomorrow, so.
Right. Yeah, you're not. I mean, not past that, obviously, but
Yeah, a crowler, I wouldn't do it more than like overnight, but
right.
the capper things on the bottles, though, will last a couple days.
Okay.
Just to keep the bottle nice.
So does this mean we're drinking Progress?
Yes.
Okay.
Look at how I shipped it. I put it in a big Ziploc bag.
I was
that.
I was excited when I saw that. I was like, yeah, you made sure that even if it leaked, it would have been good. Everything would have been fine.
Mm-hmm. Beer in a bag. Beer in a bag.
Beer in a
Yeah.
bag.
See? Beer in a bag.
Beer in a bag in a box.
Yes.
No, damn it.
What?
Why I keep a towel here.
Ah.
Don't want to ruin the finish of your table.
It's a glass table. It's all right.
Sorry.
I don't own many things in this world that aren't already damaged.
I don't own many things in this world, period. I
I
did
don't
want to
wanna
say...
I'm not trying to shame you.
I did want to say...
Bullshit.
Shout out that the crowler was not filled to the very top.
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't a disastrous spill as it sometimes is. That
Okay.
little bit of space is very important.
I know who filled the crowler, so he's done it once or twice.
Good to know.
Do you guys not drink many IPAs on the podcast?
I mean, we'll drink...
Of course.
Yeah, we'll drink any beer you want us to drink. It's fine. We're just not as
kidding.
excited
I'm
about
kidding.
them as some others.
No, I feel like we've loosened our... Like, we're more accepting of IPAs.
I mean, I've always been a fan of IPAs that are done right. The problem is with a lot of New Englands, it's just people jumped on a craze and just said, yeah, let's throw this, and this in it, and nobody's going to know anything about it.
Well, my biggest complaint has always been, and I think it's the same with Steph, is that when you get these really trendy beers that everybody wants, that's fine. Like, do whatever you want. Drink whatever you want. I don't care. But the problem is that they start taking tap space away from other styles of beer that I like to drink.
Yeah.
But I think given the fact that the whole last year has been crazy and everything's turned on its head, tap space is like the least that anybody's really thinking about, you know? So as long as I can still get like a can in the mail, you know, or a can delivered of other styles of beer, I'm still happy.
You know, to follow up with what you're saying there, I think that's been, I don't want to say a struggle. That's been something that, you know, as a company, we've struggled with because John doesn't like New England IPAs. Okay. And I always will tell him, like, it doesn't have to be what we are, but it has to be something that we do in today's world.
Yep.
Like it's just, the bottom line. That's, you have so many people who come in and ask for a hazy beer, right? Like that's the first thing out of their mouth. And, if we don't have a hazy New England IPA, we're going to push them to something else. But I think people might have an open mind if they try that style that they're comfortable with, and then you push them to something else. But I don't know. I always say that I hear myself saying that phrase. It needs to be something that we're doing, but not who we are. And I think that's we do a lot of different styles, and John, he called this Progress IPA because he's trying to make progress on his New England IPAs. I don't know if he and Ryan from Poor Man's talk all the time. We really think, there's something with effort as water. It's the calcium levels that they are having trouble with. So he's been messing around and actually, legitimately trying to work towards keeping haze in a beer and making it, a better product for what people want, along with the other things that we do. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing.
This beer has cryo hops in it.
Cryo hops.
Oh, God,
that's a sound clip too somewhere.
Cryo hop.
Oh, there's also this was probably the one you meant.
Cryo hopped.
Yeah, that one.
Here you go. Yeah, Mosaic and Citra cryo hopped, and it's got some lactose, malted oats, and wheat in there.
I do love Mosaic hop.
Yeah, and
huge fan favorite.
My issue. So we really got on a soapbox about hazy IPAs for a while on this podcast, I feel like. And I think what's that?
I said who, us?
Yeah, who, us? And I think it's just a product of our experience and our age, quite frankly, is that New England IPAs are the young craft beer drinkers thing, and that's not us, and we had been into beer and been doing the podcast for a while when New England IPAs exploded, and we were probably a little more harsh on the trend. I can only speak for myself, but I feel like we were probably a little more harsh on the trend than we should have been, and because I'm always like, let people do what they want, whatever. But I do keep circling back, and so I've tried to not talk shit on this style of beer, more recently on the show, because I just think it's dumb to hammer the point, and also people like it. But I think my biggest issue that I still have with New England IPAs and any sort of trendy new style that comes along is that it crowds out other styles. So having one or two in the lineup is smart business. It's going to get people in the door who might not have come in the door before, and you're still offering amazing other styles of beer, including lagers. So I don't think you have to worry about selling your soul anytime soon.
No. That wouldn't happen anyway, because I'm not the guy putting the stuff in the tanks.
I thought you were going to be it's not going to happen anyway because I already sold my soul 10 years ago.
Yeah.
No, because I will burn this place to the ground before that happens.
But I mean, it's John is a perfectionist, in a good way. He tries to strive to do better. Because sometimes people can be perfectionists in a bad way. I know that, but for him to specifically try to be better at it when it's something that he doesn't like, I think that's commendable to say the least. And Cumulus, the collaboration with Poor Man's was a New England IPA, and then this isn't based off that same recipe or anything like that, but he's been trying and tweaking and using some different procedures to try to get it better, as he does with other brews. Libation of beer that he's been brewing for 10 years, he's still not satisfied with the way it is, and I don't think he'll ever be happy with it. But I think that's good to try to keep on improving your craft and making things better for the consumer.
And this definitely is, I'm sure this is a popular beer for you guys. It hits all the notes. When I drink hazy IPAs, I'm not thinking about whether or not I like it, because most of them I'm kind of like, meh. Some of them are okay. But I'm thinking of it in terms of, does this hit the characteristics that people who like it want to have? And I think this one does. Right. So for the style, it hits the marks that style is supposed to hit.
Right. And then if I have this one, if there's two beers on tap, this one and a beer that we had a few months ago, Textbook IPA, which was a old school West Coast IPA. I'm like, yep, Textbook automatically.
Of course. Oh yeah.
It's just it's just the way, like you said, we came up and became craft beer drinkers in a different time period. I know that's really makes us sound old, and we're not that old. I mean, some of us are older than others, but that is something to be said about that. You have that's your taste buds that you came up on.
Yeah.
This has a very bright
progress.
flavor.
We're making progress.
Making progress.
Well,
Sorry.
No.
it does have a bright
Yeah,
flavor.
it's a very bright flavor overall.
I will say, for me, this one is like particularly too sweet for my liking.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, just like a bit too sweet for me. But again,
so we should have added like
my
extra
style.
vanilla and something else in there too.
I mean, it should be a milkshake. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But again, I appreciate it for what it is. It's just not my favorite thing.
Hey, that's what that's I hope you guys are comfortable enough to be honest, and that's what I like to hear. People are going to drink it, and maybe it's not your cup of tea, but like I said, I think it's important to attract all drinkers. Another reason that we keep that 225 or 225 year round all the time. As well, because I think that attracts a completely different profile of drinker as well, and we definitely strive to do that as a company. Have beers that people are comfortable with, and then try to push them to try something else and go a little bit outside their comfort zone and give them a well-made beer that maybe they're not willing to try at first, but because we give them something they know is good, they're willing to try something different, a little bit outside their comfort zone.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I like about this beer?
What's
This
that?
beer allows you to keep making bitters and milds and lagers. All the things that might sit on the tap lines a little longer. This beer allows you to make those.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. These are the beers that people put in cans and pay, what we were saying, $22 for a 4-pack. No, we won't. We don't do that. It's just, but people do.
As soon as you said these are the beers, I was like, these are the beers. I thank God that I'm alive.
I bought a 4-pack of a New England IPA for a friend at a local brewery recently, and after tax and tip, it was $25 for the 4-pack, and that's
a lot for
not cool. That's not cool. And tip is part of that, and of course tax. But you could account for that, and I don't. Maybe this is me being a curmudgeon and a cheap asshole. I don't think I would want to spend more than $20 total, all said and done, for a 4-pack of beer. And your tip is in there, and I want to tip you as fairly as I can, but the brewery needs to price it fairly otherwise.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Yeah, I paid that much for a 4-pack before because it's something that you want to try and something.
Yeah.
But how often are you going to go back and drink that every time, or if it was out again? I tasted it that one time, because that's the mentality of consumers right now in the beer industry. It's like, oh, I've had that before. Why am I going to have it again? It's
interesting. Actually, it's interesting that you bring that up, because I wonder, and I don't own a brewery, so I don't know, but I feel like that was the case before COVID, and we talked about it a lot on the show. Like, it's always like, we want the new thing, we want the new thing. I don't care if your flagship beers are like the greatest beers in the world. I've had them. Do you think COVID has changed that, since people are getting beers delivered? Like, I've been drinking a lot of the same beers over and over again just because I know I can get them delivered to my door, and I'm not going out to places and trying new beers.
I don't know. I'll have to ask our bartenders. My wife works at our tap room. Once a week, and most people come in and say, "Whoa, what's new?" And I don't know if that's changed since COVID or not, but that was definitely before.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for us as a brewery, COVID. We went away from as much draft because we couldn't sell kegs to places. So we were in a situation where the only beers we were brewing were ones we could put in cans, or we had labels for, or we had enough cans for, because that's where all of it was going. There was a minimal amount of draft that was going out. So that was a big thing. We put out new beers during that time period, but smaller batches, but nothing new unless we had a can for it, because we had to do it that way, because that's where all the beer was going.
Yeah. Well, and nobody's waiting in lines for beers right now. Like, there's no beer release parties, and that drives a lot of that try the newest thing mentality. And I just wonder, although I do wonder if there's going to be like an opposite reaction when things start opening up and there's just going to be this like cathartic release of everybody who wanted to do shit for a year and a half and couldn't, and now they're going to go to bars and be like, I want one of every beer on the menu. And like, so I wonder if that sort of like is going to come back with force, because that whole mentality is about like, I want to try a new thing, I want to have a new experience, and as COVID restrictions lift, there's a lot of pent up demand for new experiences. And so I wonder if that will come back, or if the people have gotten used to going back to the same beers over and over again because that's what they've been doing during, quote unquote lockdown or whatever. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out in the end.
Yeah. I did go to a beer release where we waited in line. Steph, you were there, and Dana, and Rich. And the beer was sold out by the time we even got around the corner to get it.
Oh, that sucks.
That's okay. I would have never actually drank that beer anyway.
I would have bought a can off Greg and drank it, and then that would have been about it.
That was an Insta beer. That wasn't I want to consume it.
Yeah,
beer.
no, not at all. So instead we got the beers that we wanted to drink there. But I think as far as I go, I am definitely going back to beers that I know are, trustworthy and tried and true. Like, there's a reason I keep, and the price point definitely helps. There's a reason I keep a 6-pack of Reading Premium in the fridge at all times. A 6-pack of that is less than $10.
And it's good.
It's good, and it's 16-ounce cans. It's the big boys.
Well, and I think you bring up a big point. I think we are all financially in a different state of mind too.
Yeah.
Like I think we're more mindful, not only to be financially smart, but also financially supporting businesses that we want to still be around. So in my mind, if there's a brewery that I still want to be able to go to a couple months from now, or a beer that I still want to be able to drink, that's what I'm going to put my money towards.
Yeah.
I just think we're more mindful about where we're putting our money.
I think on top of financials, and for sure, I am more aware of where my money goes these days. As far as my beer consumption goes, I want things that I know are good, and it's like an extra level of comfort, because the past year, we can all agree, has been shit. I want something that I know is something I like. I have been much less adventurous in a lot of ways in the past year. I've drank so many of the same beers, eaten so much of the same food, and watched so much of the same shows and movies. It's just, I want something where I can escape. It's something I know is going to make me feel good. And
else
Jesus,
to get me through this.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's not something else. I want
Quarantine
something of the
kinda
same.
See? I'm not the only one that does this.
Yeah. But I feel like we all got to find something, especially since we're collectively going through this weird time that nobody has ever had before in their lives. We all want something.
I like that you said that instead of unprecedented.
I hate.
Thank you for not saying unprecedented.
I cannot
definition.
I cannot stand that word, because this time last year, when all these companies put out these commercials like, we're in unprecedented times, so Capital One, I don't care. Stop saying that word. Just be normal for a minute. But that being said, I want comfort. I want nothing but comfort. And
I want it all. I want it all.
And I
want it now.
And I want it.
But there's a reason I keep writing premium on. There's a reason I gravitate towards the 225. I'm getting there. There's a reason that I ordered Vienna Lager from Workhorse for so long. These are beers I know that I like, can get me through the day, and I know I'm not gonna spend money on something that is not my style, because I know it's something that I like. And I think a lot of other people are in the same boat. If you like it, you've had more of it in the past year.
That's fair.
Yeah. That brings me to a question that I have for you.
Oh shit!
I made
this isn't Dane. No, Dane. This is not how this works.
We have no. See, what you don't understand is you are playing with fire, because if you ask us about ourselves, we could literally sit here for the next 8 hours talking.
That's true.
We always do. We love to talk about ourselves.
They were going to be rapid fire questions.
I mean, we're good at it, but we love it.
No, honestly, for you guys, obviously, we're for the last year, you're doing things a lot differently than what you have in the past. So, is that the biggest change for you guys doing this, or is there something for the podcast aspect of it?
I think podcast wise, it's been a big change, and the first couple episodes we did virtually were rocky, and we were getting used to it a little bit. And it was just so weird because everybody's life had changed so quickly, and nobody knew how to deal with it. But I think in the end, it's wound up being kind of a cool thing. We're able to connect with people outside our geographic area, or even like you. For me and Wayne to get to effort is not exactly the easiest thing these days. Especially, we recorded tonight at 6:00. That would not have happened in the before times.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, then here's my next one. Everybody, what's the best beer you had in the last year?
I hate that question.
It's from Bierstadt Lager Helles.
Oh, the slow pour pills for them was up there for me. I'm so bad at remembering shit in general.
Human Robot Politamave.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, thank you. And I said that before.
Guys, the correct answer is Annivermilkary.
No, I'm not looking for that. Come on.
All right, so I will say because of geographic circumstances, I have not had much of your beer over the past year.
Right.
I will say, Reading Premium has gotten me through a lot of it.
Yeah.
But Politamave has just been, oh my God, their Doppelbock too at Human Robot.
It was really good, yeah.
Is insane.
So how do you pronounce that Human Robot beer?
Politamave.
That's the dark Czech lager, right?
Yeah. It's amazing.
That is the one beer I've had in the past year that was like, this is a new experience for me.
I will say though, it might not have been like the standout of the year, but it was definitely the most eye-opening. Fucking Oreo cheesecake from Stickman.
I didn't like that beer.
I liked it.
Really
it served
didn't
its
like that
purpose
beer.
in the moment, and it was just so surprising how good it was.
I'm sorry. I can't do that.
All right, and one more.
One more.
The best takeout you've had in the last year.
Okay.
Rangoli, 100%.
What?
Rangoli in Shillington.
Okay.
Literally the best Indian takeout food, and it's so close to us.
Nice.
This is anybody who knows.
Like when we say we're getting takeout in this house, it means we're getting Rangoli. That's literally
Nice.
the only to-go food we get.
See, for me, and anybody who knows my eating habits know that this is a thing. At Taproom on 19th, it's their hot chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Almost every weekend, hot chicken sandwich. I get a salad because I got to have the greens in there, but then I also get a side of mac and cheese because their mac and cheese is great. But every Saturday for the past 4 months, I've gotten this meal.
So I've on 19th.
19th the Ritter. It's the best. It's
cool
one of the best
spot.
places
Yeah.
in South Philly. I fucking love it there.
Is that mac and cheese better than the mac and cheese with the Cheez-Its on from the food truck at Love City?
Oh, that was good, but I think that was honestly a one-time novelty.
Okay.
Whereas Taproom on 19th, they do their it's Italian style mac and cheese. They make the bechamel, and then it's just it's mac and cheese unlike any I've ever had. It's like they actually cared about the mac and cheese instead of just saying it's mac and cheese, you'll eat it.
I've literally
You're looking through your Grubhub.
I've literally opened up my Grubhub app and was just scrolling through it because I moved to Philly from Reading near where Steph lives 5-6 years ago now. I've lost count. But one of the coolest things that I've enjoyed living in Philadelphia as opposed to a smaller city is the availability of a lot of different really good food. And so I'm like a Grubhub addict and have been. And so pandemic times, I've been ordering like crazy. So I can't tell you what the greatest takeouts I've had in the past year is because I have just been buying shit from everywhere. But I will tell you, recently I had sushi that was so good that I wrote the name of the sushi plate in my phone notes. And it's Kumo Hibachi Sushi.
Nice.
So I will tell you, I found that really good place. But yeah, there's a lot of great food in Philadelphia, and you can get it brought to your door. I do want to say I've done pickup meals from our friends at Unsoul Food.
Oh, yeah.
Jess and I did a Valentine's dinner thing that they did. We did something early on in the pandemic. We got some stuff from them. So I do want to shout them out. Unsoul Food in Philadelphia. Hit them up on Instagram. That's where they hang out.
Yeah. And we first had their food.
It's all vegan, and it's super good.
We first had their food at Naked. They were catering the one night. And they Uber everywhere with their foods to be environmentally sound.
See what I told you, Dane? It's like 20 minutes on this
question
right
now.
I thought you guys ask all these questions. I wanted to know a little bit about everybody's tired of the same old stuff. Want to hear from what you guys.
That's great. Well, let's fire some of these back at you. What beer do you think you've drank the most over the past year?
Ooh, the most? Oh.
Versus, I'm assuming most means probably one of your favorites, but also if it's not, what is your favorite beer from the past year?
Oh man, I'll tell you what. The most, There was a time and stretch where I generally wasn't drinking a lot of beer from St. Boniface, just because I had access to it all the time. But I found myself during the pandemic, whatever was being canned that week, I would grab a 6-pack, I would bring it home, and it would be gone very, very quickly. So to be honest with that, St. Boniface was the most that I drank for obvious reasons. But I'll tell you what, very impressed in the fall. I had a dark mild from Suarez in New York, the Hudson Valley up in New York, and I was really impressed with their Pilsners are banging as well. So overall, that was the brewery that impressed me the most during the pandemic, just because it might have been the fact that it was like the first time away from home, but I know their beers are really, really good. So I give a big shout out to them.
I've heard nothing but good things. I don't think I've had any of their beer. That's what
it's a nice drive up there too. It's a really cool spot.
Beautiful area. Spend a weekend up there. There's a ton of places to go see. You can get outside, get a hike in. Really, really nice area up there. Not too far from here either.
That's good. Well, what's been your comfort food over the past year?
Mealworms.
Ha!
Yeah.
Minnows.
Actually, I would say we try to do like takeout once, but we've definitely found more to making meals at home. We tried to early on in the pandemic, and lockdown and stuff, and pick one place a week and get a nice big order and have some leftovers and things like that. But like you said, being conscious of eating out all the time, and which isn't necessarily the healthiest thing for you, but also financially, and you're stuck here at home. So you make your trips count to the grocery store, and, you're here at home enjoying yourself and trying some new things. So I think we've definitely eaten more at home than anything.
Yeah, I've got more into cooking over the past year and have gotten and acquired in various ways way too many kitchen appliances. So yeah, I've ones I didn't eat. My computer is sitting on the box for a stand mixer and a food processor off to the side of the table.
Nice.
Because there's no room for these anywhere.
Instapots on the counter.
The
deep fryer.
Deep fryer's going to go.
Yeah.
Early on in the pandemic, I spent several $100s at the Container Store to completely reorganize my kitchen pantry. So now there is room for that stuff.
That's awesome.
Nice.
I mean, we just have such a small kitchen. There's really no way to do anything with it.
The kitchen is pretty
Come meet me at the Container Store.
All right, let's do it.
We'll fix it.
All right. Sounds good. One other question, I think, before we mosey on into last call. So, Dane, we have talked a lot about the past of St. Boniface, and 10 years is a very long time for a brewery to be open and to celebrate so many things. But we got to ask, what does the future hold for St. Boniface?
Oh, wow. That is a loaded question.
It holds, yep.
Anniver 37-ery.
Yeah.
I'm 37?
Yeah, by that time, and we're having a podcast recording when we're having that one. Wow.
Will you actually say it?
No. Maybe. 37. Okay, I'll give it to you at 37.
37. All right.
27 years ago.
All right.
Write that down.
No. I mean,
it needs to be called 37 in a row of Annivermilkary.
So we're definitely looking forward to getting back to some normalcy. That's the first step. Getting back, our customers on a daily basis, and really, the last year, we opened a second location right in the middle of this. So we haven't been able to really see the full potential of Tide House yet. The first time that people sat at the bar at Tide House was the other day. It's incredible to me.
Wow.
So we've been open since June of last year, at least in a takeout basis there. But for the first time people sat at the bar was, just a few days ago. There's an untapped potential in Lidditz for us. And, we have we're investigating the possibilities of the second floor space for event space, not just like for receptions or weddings or anything like that, but all sorts of things, we're throwing out there for, an indoor beer garden of some sort. We don't know what we can do in there. It's just kind of untapped potential right now that we haven't been able to really think about, because it's been survival mode for almost a year at this point.
Yeah.
So
if you end up doing an event space upstairs, may I recommend a comedy night, and may I recommend you book this guy right here.
Okay.
All right. Just gonna throw that out there.
I'll keep it in mind.
He has performed in front of other paying audiences.
Believe it or not. Multiple times too.
Yes.
But did they come back is the question.
I did.
All right.
I only watched one. Sorry.
It's cool.
No.
I mean,
It's probably the same material,
here's
right?
the thing. You did more than I should have asked any people to do. You went to New York to see me do part of it. So like that's.
Oh well, if you count that, then yes too.
Oh yeah, I count that for sure.
Okay. Yeah. No, I was thinking your stand up. That was improv.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're two
Okay.
different things for sure. But yeah, you've supported me in both.
That was cool. I got to go to UCB theater.
That was fucking.
How fucking cool is that?
I got to perform at UCB.
I know that's even better,
theater.
but like at least I got to go.
It was one of the best experiences of my life, and I'm so glad I got
that's
to do
super
it.
cool, and it's a place I'm really glad I got to go, and a place that my brother performed at,
Yeah.
which like is super cool for me.
But I'm sure you could do like open mic nights. Not even just you could do like bring your acoustic guitar and play a song or two,
Or a bowling alley. Who knows?
wow. Well, they don't have 70,000 square feet there.
No, I think it's tough to look past just a little bit right now until we see some normalcy and kind of get in a groove again. I'm certainly hoping for a nice bounce back to 2019 numbers and 2018 numbers.
Yeah.
Because for the last 5 years we've been grooving increased numbers of production, and to hit a speed bump. I mean, it's not really a speed bump; it's much more than that. But we want to get
Speed
back
bump,
to some
global
normalcy.
catastrophe.
Yeah, exactly. Get back to some normalcy, and then reassess and go from there. You always got to be thinking ahead, obviously, but it is definitely tough to do that right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And you don't want to get stuck thinking too much ahead at a time like
Yeah.
this. You need to react to the present.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And,
it's a balancing act, I'm sure.
It is, and I think everybody's doing whatever they can through all of this to try to make good, smart decisions for the long haul. I think we've operated our company in a way before this in a responsible fashion, and hopefully and continue to do that and make good decisions to put us on a path of success down the road.
It's a well thought out answer. I appreciate that.
That's why he does the marketing.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Well, speaking of marketing, for anyone who's out there who may not be aware of where they can find out more about St. Boniface, why don't you give them a rundown of where they can go?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can check us out on all our social media channels, Facebook, Instagram, both St. Boniface Brew on Twitter and Instagram. You can also see what's going on in Lidditz at Tide House Lidditz. Both Facebook and social and Instagram as well. We are actually in the process of building a new website for the brewery, which was started before the pandemic, but then since we decided to open a restaurant in the middle, we built that website first. So we're finishing things up in that realm. So check us out. Hit us up if you have any questions or want our beer. We basically have distribution channels from all throughout Eastern Pennsylvania, the 5 counties, all the way to like Franklin, Fulton, Dauphin, in Central Pennsylvania. So Southeastern Pennsylvania, if you want our beer, let us know. We'll make it happen somehow.
And it's beer that you very well should have, because it's amazing. Everything I've ever had from St. Boniface has been just top notch.
Well, we appreciate that. You guys have been singing our praises for quite a long time, and we appreciate that support. And I love coming on and chatting with you guys.
Well, we love having you on. We absolutely love it.
We also love drinking your beers.
Well, yeah, that is very true too. Well, while you are out there looking at all the cool things that St. Boniface has, remember, you know where you can find us: Twitter, Instagram,
We're on the internet
at Beerbusters, Facebook, Beerbusters Podcast, yada, yada, yada. YouTube.com/Beerbusters Podcast. You get to watch the videos that Wayne does for the game. Patreon.com/Beerbusters is how you can find your way into Last Call that we are about to record. And we have another crowler that we need to open.
We do, and it's a fucking Schwartz beer.
And I can't wait. It's been in the fridge taunting me for like 3 weeks.
Also, I have to pee.
Yeah, I gotta pee too. So, first off, Dane, thank you again, man, for everything, including being on the show again tonight.
Well, I love being here, and I love hanging out with you guys when I get a chance. Hopefully, it happens more often in the future.
Yeah. If there's one thing
in person.
Exactly. If there's one thing the past year has taught me, it's that I took time and availability for granted. And there's going to be a lot of things that change going forward. But that's for then, not necessarily. Yep, Wayne wanted to hear himself chirp. Well, that does unfortunately bring us to the end of another episode of Beer Busters. And if you've made it this far in listening to Beer Busters 1, obviously thank you for making it this far in the episode. But it, like, year-wise...
When you said that, I was going to... If you made it this far in Beer Busters 1, wait till you see Beer Busters 2.
Yeah, right, no. Of course, you got to go out and you got to get some St. Boniface beers because they are absolutely fantastic. Thank you for listening. Give us a rating and review on your podcast app of choice. Do that for all of the podcasts that you listen to. But my name is Dan Baker. I am joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and of course the demented and fermented
Queen of Baker.
It was true then, and it is very true now. No squids were harmed in the making of this episode. And we'll see you next time.
But we did learn about a new array of tacos.
Is that what he said?